the heat.
And welcome to the broadcast today, and sorry for the late show. It's unfortunate that every time we have to encounter one technical problem to another, but I am excited that I am here with you tonight to bring you, as usual, very inspiring and educative information as regards the struggle for Ambazonians' self-actualization. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be talking tonight about the lockdown that comes up on Ground Zero beginning Thursday. We'll also be talking about the conference that comes up in Washington, D.C. come June the 23rd through the 25th. We'll call it Ambazonia Referendum Conference. We also will be taking you to a very exciting conversation with the activists who recently regrouped, ladies and gentlemen, in Belgium. They are joining me here tonight to tell all of us what that was all about and if there is anything that we should expect going forward. But also a very important meeting took place. I don't want to call it an important meeting, but an event took place in Boya last Friday. And you can't wait until I bring you what happened there and what that means to us in this strife for a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. As usual, please, I see we are still having issues with Facebook. Somehow it doesn't appear like people are getting notifications to join this show. So you have to do it. You have to do it. If you are on Facebook now, please, I ask you, go ahead and send out the link so that others can join, so others may know that the anchor man is not live. He is alive. Please hit that share button and don't touch your remote. I'm coming right back. Thanks for staying put there, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I encourage you once more to go ahead and hit your share button so that we can have as many people as possible joining the Facebook platform. And for those of you who have been joining by way of Roku, our Roku transmission was down for about 2 weeks. I just want to let you know that we are back on Roku. We are back. ABS is back on Roku. So you can go ahead and watch ABS on Roku anytime, any day, beginning today. Again, I'm asking you, I want to see the numbers jumping. I like to see the numbers jumping. This is very exciting. The information, the piece of information that I bring to you, the piece of inspiration and education that I bring to you today. So please, if you are just joining, hit that share button, and I actually see that the numbers are kind of jumping right now, but they are still far beneath what I expect. So go ahead and hit your share button, please. And while you do so, I'd like to remind Ground Zero of what is coming up. What is coming up, ladies and gentlemen, beginning this Thursday, May the 18th, Thursday, May the 18th through Saturday, May 20th. It is popularly known in Ambazonia and in La République du Cameroon as 20th May. 20th May has become one of those, over the years became one of those days that we went out and celebrated the rape of our own people. And a few years ago, from this interim government, and of course, all over the globe, Ambazonians all over the globe, we resolved that 20th May will never again be celebrated in our territory. And I have come out in the last few days putting out a message to the effect that one of the root causes to us being in war today is 20th May. It's 20th May. 20th May to every Ambazonian should be like a dog returning to its own vomit. A dog returning to its own vomit. On 20th May of 1972, La République du Cameroon, trying to actualize the integration, the decimation of what was then known as West Cameroon, conducted a referendum, an illegal, fraudulent referendum that took away the autonomy of the southern Cameroons, handed it over to La République du Cameroon. We essentially became subjects of La République du Cameroon instead of the autonomous state that we were as of that time. That marked the demise of the southern Cameroons, or West Cameroon as we knew it. And so we have over the years stated that if we are really angry enough, if we are upset enough that we don't want Cameroon, and we want the international community to hear us and to understand us and to believe that the message is coming from us, especially Ground Zero, that we have rejected any relationships with La République du Cameroon. How we send that message is by staying home on 20th May. Stay away, stay home on 20th May. That is why we have declared a 3-day lockdown, beginning again Thursday the 18th through Saturday the 20th. We don't have to facilitate this event for La République du Cameroon, which is why we want Ambazonians to know it is good you stay home. Make room for the restoration fighters to enforce this lockdown. Remember what happened in Motengene the last time we declared a lockdown. Remember what happened in Boya, Mountain Race, when we declared a lockdown. Please, we take these lockdowns very seriously. When we ask you to stay home for 3 days, just 3 days, it is not because we try to make life harder for you. No, it is just one of those sacrifices that we have to make in the course of our quest for freedom. 3 days will not destroy your business. I know things are hard to come by nowadays, but 3 days will not run your business under. So please, let's observe it. And what we are trying to do here once more is sending a message out to the international community that Ambazonians on the ground, not in the diaspora, have long declared, and they mean it, that they have nothing to do with La République du Cameroun. That they have nothing to do with La République du Cameroun. So please, let's observe lockdown. It ends on Saturday. Thursday, Friday ends on Saturday. Sunday, you go out with your normal business. Monday, the regular goes down. Tuesday, you go about your business. Everything resumes as usual. So please, this is the sacrifice we're asking everybody in Ground Zero to observe, to pay. And thank you for doing so. But to the restoration fighters, I really want to appreciate you. You guys are doing a wonderful job keeping Ground Zero hot. We are hearing of Mbiame, hearing of Meme, hearing of Boya, hearing of all over the place. La République du Cameroun is wondering whether actually it is working, whether what they are doing is working, because the restoration fighters are occupying everywhere. They are mystifying the forces and the authorities in La République du Cameroun. And I truly want to appreciate you for doing so much with very little. Thank you very much. Now, 20th May. The 20th of May is coming up where La République du Cameroon plans to carry out these festivities in our territory. Now, have you guys observed out there that what Lateral Republic Cameroon is doing is paying more attention to having a successful 20th May in our territory? Not in French Cameroon, not in Douala, not in Yaoundé. In fact, Paul Biya may not even be there in Yaoundé. He may not be at that grandstand in Yaoundé. All their attention, preparations are focused in Ambazonia, in Bamenda, in Victoria, in Boya, in Kumba, in Manu, Manfe, all these places. Even in Libya, where they have since packed their baggages out. They are desperately trying to make sure that 20th May festivities take place in our territory and doing very little in their own part of the country. Why are they doing this? The reason is because when they have people coming out in their numbers, the traditional dances, the chiefs, the elite, and the people that they may actually ferry in from Douala to Victoria or Bunda to Bamenda, they want the world to know that if Ambazonians troop out in these numbers to celebrate 20th May, the day they consider they were, colonized. Ladies and gentlemen, 20th May was the day we were colonized by French Cameroon. If you don't know that, that was the day of our colonization, from one colonization to the other colonization. It is the day, 20th May was the day that the southern Cameroons was colonized by French Cameroon. In Cameroon, by this 20th May, the current 20th May that they are planning for, by that, what they are trying to do is send a strong message to the international community to say, hey, look at the so-called Ambazonians. They want you to believe, the diaspora wants you to believe that Ambazonians don't want Cameroon. But look at how they are celebrating 20th May. Look at how they are dancing on 20th May. So please, if you truly want a free and independent Southern Cameroon, there is absolutely no reason why you should be outdoors on 20th May. No reason at all. Don't say, let me walk to the Commercial Avenue and see what is happening there. Don't say, let me go to Bongo Square to see if anything is happening there. Stay home. That alone is the success that we need. The streets of Boya, Bamenda, Victoria, Kumba, Manfe, everywhere in Ambazonia must remain dry. And the restoration fighters have the power to shut down any vehicle seen on the streets or the roads of the territory. They have those powers. They are given those powers between Thursday and Saturday to shut down Kumba Boya Road, Bamenda Bunda Road, shut down every single road in Ambazonia. And we have learned of Okada riders, every time they try to defy these instructions, you do so at your own risk. I can assure you, you do so at your own risk. Do not fall victim. Do not fall victim. And if you fall victim, don't say you were not told, you were not warned. These events are backed up with fire, power, and you shall see it if you think that you can try to defy it. So that is it for 20th May, ladies and gentlemen. Take note of that. We are shutting down all of Ambazonia between Thursday the 18th and Saturday the 20th. Stay tuned. Don't move away. Please hit your share button as I get you over to the main subject of the day in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there, and please continue to hit that share button until we have a saturated Facebook platform here. I will now take you to the subject of the Washington DC conference that is coming up June the 23rd through June the 25th. We are having this meeting, putting this meeting together to continue to educate Ambazonians on this subject of a referendum. We believe that the international community wants to see Ambazonians rallying around this one message, the message for a referendum that allows for the voice of Ground Zero to be heard. That is what it is all about. You call it a plebiscite, I don't care. You call it anything for as long as it allows for the people to vote, to choose. That is what we want at this moment. We have made it very clear, ladies and gentlemen, we stand by the referendum. Because so far, going into the 7th year, Cameroon hasn't thought about sitting on the dialogue table. And so yet some people feel like we ought to be begging, pleading, going on our knees to plead for La République du Cameroon to get to the negotiation table. Of course, we are not going to do so. We are a people's group, and we deserve to be heard through a popular vote. I said here last time, when we joined Cameroon, it was through a vote. Do you recall that? When we joined La République du Cameroon, it was through a popular vote. Remember the plebiscite of 1961? When we joined them through a popular vote. And it was also stated in the Constitution that facilitated our joining them, ladies and gentlemen, that if it doesn't work in 10 years, we have the right to pull back. It's been more than 10 years. And how they raped us in that constitutional process was the fact that after the 10 years, we did not pull back. Even though we complained, we grumbled, but did not pull back. And you know what they did? They conducted a referendum of 1972 to completely do away with the federal constitution, so that you could no longer say the constitution says. The constitution says. The constitution says we can do a reversal. That is the reason why they changed the constitution in 1972 to make it a unitary constitution. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever the case, after 60 years, Ambazonians are saying we no longer can cope in this Njumba palaver because it wasn't a marriage. There was no marriage certificate to it, as Mola Jolly Tumbe used to say. It was Njumba palaver without any documentation. And when you hear the call for a presentation of the Treaty of Union, that is what we are talking about. None has existed. And so today, after 60 years, Ambazonians have stood up and they are saying, we want our own country back. We want our country back. And 7 years fighting. La République du Cameroon hasn't shown any sign, ladies and gentlemen, any sign that they can negotiate. They can sit on the table with us. Do not want to tell me they organized Grand National Dialogue. It was a monologue. It was a monologue. Just imagine if I was there at that conference. Would I have been allowed to say or utter a word? Of course not. Of course not. So we are saying today, if Cameroon continues to tell the international community or wants the international community to believe that Ambazonians in the diaspora are the ones fomenting trouble on the ground, that people on the ground just want to live in peace without justice with French Cameroon, then then why not allow the people to exercise a vote to indicate exactly what they want? That is why we are calling today for this referendum. We are so glad and excited. Ground Zero is all for it. It's all for it. So we are calling this conference in Washington, D.C. I don't want to x-ray here on television what we hope to achieve, but we are calling upon every Ambazonian, especially in North America, including Canada, to please get ready. Again, the dates have been written in stone. June the 23rd through the 25th. The 24th, June the 24th will be the plenary where everybody will be in session, be able to contribute, ask questions, and contribute and participate in the discussions. We're going to be having lots and lots of international participants and observers from including the U.S. Congress, Senate, and the State Department. Please, we want all ambassadors. Just imagine, Cameroon has now scheduled their own so-called Cameroon Diaspora Conference on the same day, June 23rd through the 25th. What are they trying to do? They are trying to scuttle this referendum conference, and which is the reason why I am appealing to every Ambazonian in North America. Let us show up in our thousands to send a message to La République du Cameroon and the international community that we still stand behind what we want, what we demand for. That is a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. It will show up in our thousands, ladies and gentlemen. We send a strong message to Cameroon that the struggle is not dead. The crusade for a free and independent Ambazonia isn't dead, isn't gone. That the diaspora is still out there championing the cause for a free and independent Southern Cameroon. That is what we need to prove on June the 23rd, 24th, and the 25th. So please, I urge you to begin to make your traveling arrangements right now. Book your flight. We are not changing the date. So you can confidently book your flights for Washington, D.C., June the 23rd through the 24th. And you will never regret. That will make it. Let us rebirth. Again, let us rebirth this struggle between June the 23rd through the 25th in Washington, D.C. I look forward to seeing you there, and let's make sure that we invite every other Ambazonian out there. Okay, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, when I come back, I will take you into my first monologue, my first talking point for the day. Don't touch your remote. Ladies and gentlemen, as I indicated to you a few minutes ago, some elite of the Southern Zone met in Boya last Friday in the conference they called Peace and Development, Southwest Peace and Development Conference. It will be interesting for you to know what it was all about and what came out of there. Something happened in Boya last Friday and has been very much underreported by the media, even their own media. It was a conference summoning all the so-called elite of the region. That is, in La République du Cameroon terminology, Southwest region to Boya. The conference was convened by the Southwest Regional Assembly leadership with peace and development in the Southwest being top on the agenda of the conference. At the Mountain Hotel venue of the conference, speaker after speaker took turns to lament over what they described as the takeover of the Southwest by non-indigenous. They cited, for example, land grabbing, recruitment into certain faculties of the University of Boya, and the complete absence of Southwesterners in top management positions in certain companies doing business in the region, as they call it. Again, that is their own terminology. Leading the protest was Dr. Eno Orok, former president of the Southwest Elite Association. Southwesterners, Orok said, or charged, are now an endangered species, in quote, endangered species, in their own region, he said. People, he continued to, he said they don't like taking over, they take over their lands. They take over their lands and they occupy their villages. Foreigners do that, he said. Orok noted and questioned why only a very minimal number of Southwest indigents are being admitted in state-run training institutions, such as the Faculty of Health Sciences at the University of Boya. As the people applauded thunderously and spontaneously in the audience, Orok wasn't alone. Orok wasn't alone. Mbela Moki and Sarah Namondo had their own turns too. And it wasn't appeasement either. Seizing the opportunity of a question from the audience, more forcefully than Orok, Mbela Moki questioned why the Southwest region is being run by people from other regions. Run by people, he said, from other regions. Sarah Namondo bitterly protested what she described as the recruitment of predominantly French-speaking Cameroonians at the National Oil Refinery Sonora in Victoria. Herself, a former worker of Sonora, said she could not get an employment contract at the company despite working there for 2 years because her bosses were French speaking and they only responded to her in the French language when she asked questions. As the sensibilities of the issues increased, ladies and gentlemen, Zacchaeus Bakoma Elango filibustered. As moderator and president of the Southwest Regional Assembly, he hastily shut down the meeting, called for adjournment to the dismay of a very passionate audience. This was supposed to be a peace and development conference, a conference to find solutions to issues, problems in the region. The issues being raised had everything to do with peace and development. But in spite of protests from the audience, the discussions were shut down in the guise of time constraints. What took place in this meeting can aptly be given the title, How the Elites Underdeveloped the Southwest Region, as they call it. The Southwest Region, as they call it. How they underdevelop it. The same requiem takes place in the Northern Zone too. The elite pretend that they care. Summon these peace and development conferences only to muzzle genuine discourse on genuine issues. How many of us remember the famous Musonge Commission, for example? It was created at the onset of this war It made the rounds all over the place in our territory. People raised pertinent and founded grievances, which, if resolved, could have averted this war. But those voices, ladies and gentlemen, just didn't matter. They just didn't matter. The whole exercise was mere window dressing, and once more, we see a repeat of it in this meeting in Boya. But the problem is that it is these same people, these same chiefs and elites raising the issues who will be knocking your doors tomorrow telling you all is well, all is fine. It will be these same Mokis and the Namondos, the parliamentarians, the senators, the chiefs that you will see on TV tomorrow telling you all is well. Peace is needed. Development is finally coming, they will say. Whereas they cannot even as much as make the case for peace and development in this country. They cannot. They are shut down at the mention of injustice. These grievances have been heard before. I have seen Mbela Moki, to his credit, passionately raise some of them on the floor of the Senate in Yaoundé. But it has been years since then. And not a stone has been moved. Not a stone has been moved. What is Mbela Moki still doing in the damn Senate? This stunt that you put on occasionally, sir, to pretend that you care isn't working. It's mere window dressing. It is interesting. Isn't it interesting that Sarah Namondo has the guts to complain all about her own treatment? Can you see the greed in the so-called elite? I expected Namondo to say that Southwesterners are not being employed in Sonora, that they are not in the board and management positions. But she only cares about a contract she didn't get. These so-called Southwest elites only just realized today that they are being ruled by people from other regions, francophones from other regions? Of course not. Is it just today they have realized that francophones have grabbed majority of the land in their territory? And what do they think a toothless dog and a high-sounding nothing by the name of Regional Assembly can do? Nothing. Take back the lands, sack all management in Sonora, and begin recruitment of Southwesterners? Of course not. Sack the Francophone governor and all the Francophone DOs, divisional officers so-called, in the land. They don't have the powers. They are toothless. A regional assembly that is so scared of frank debate or honest discussion, you expect it to resolve the issues? Let me assure you of one thing. You can host calls of peace in development conferences, but no peace and development will happen for as long as you continue to avoid the underlying problems, sirs. Sirs, peace isn't the word the people of Ambazonia want to hear. The word they want to hear is justice. Justice. Peace will continue to elude all of you for as long as you think there is no need for justice. Justice is what the people want, not peace, not grievances, or same old complaints. We heard them before. We heard same complaints from Dr. E.M. Elendele. He complained of Sonora. He complained of CDC. He complained of the absence of the deep sea port in Victoria. He complained of the bastardization of our educational system. Endele complained of the rape of our legal system. But he is vindicated Because in this time, the present awakening had not raised its head. We heard it too from the Funcha in the northern zone. We heard it from Solomon Tandeng Mona, from Simon Achidiachu. They raised the complaints. How about Fonka Shang Lawrence, Solomon Fogwe, and so on and so forth? They too are all gone. We cannot be coming in year after year and raising the same grievances as if somebody will listen. If somebody was listening, we will not be at war today. Nobody is listening. If somebody was listening, over 50,000 people will not be dead today. We will not have our people as refugees. We will not be having our territory surrounded by an army of occupation just to quiet you, silence you, so you can't talk. The people have spoken. Ambazonians have spoken. The so-called regional assemblies in Boya and Bamenda, made up of colonial Cameroon appointed elites, are empty shells. Empty shells. They do not speak for nor represent the aspirations of the people of Amazonia. They are enablers and blacklegs among us. They should be stoned, and I mean it, they should be stoned wherever they show up. They should not be allowed to meet in any public place in Amazonia. And please, please, do not wait for the interim government or for the restoration fighters to come and take some action here. The time has come for every Ambazonian to realize that if we have to win this war, every citizen must see his or her own rule and be a combatant or a fighter. You want freedom? You can begin to figure out from within the confines of your room, your walls, how to go about these enablers, these so-called elites, and the blacklegs among us. Don't wait for any orders. Make your own orders. Make your own orders. This idea of occasionally descending on our towns and cities and summoning these conferences and making media sound bites is aimed at pacifying you, the people. They want you to think that they care. They do not care. They want you to think that they are fighters. They fight for their bellies. They want you to think that they can talk solutions. They have no solutions. But the simple truth is that we have seen the drama year after year for 60 years, and it hasn't brought us justice. What we demand that they do is that they join us, they join the masses, they join the people, and let's take back our country. That is the message to these people out there. I am joined, ladies and gentlemen, by our famous activists out there. I have with me here Prince Jeka. Prince Jeka, great to have you, sir.
Greetings, Comrade Chris.
All right, we also have here, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Don Pasho. Good to see you, sir.
Greetings, Comrade Christopher Anu. Greetings, fellow televiewers.
And I also have with me on set Eugene Ufoka. Good to have you, sir.
Yes, Comrade Chris, thank you, and greetings, everyone.
All right, and lastly but not the least, of course, I have also here on set Comrade Sama Thomas. Good to have you, sir.
Good afternoon, Comrade Chris, and good afternoon to my fellow brothers, and good evening to JK, wherever he is in Norway and the rest in America, and also Comrade Don Pacho in Spain. It's a pleasure with you guys.
Thank you. Let me start with Prince Jeka. Prince Jeka, this meeting that I just described took place in your hometown of Boya, and that is not to indict you by any means. It just happened to be a coincidence. But you listen to my monologue here. Tell me if I am wrong anywhere. We have heard this, we have seen these peace conferences again and again for the past 6 years, and we have heard these grievances and complaints again and again for the past 6 years. What should happen to these people who constantly put these conferences together to kind of pacify our people to believe that, oh, they are working for the people, they are fighting for the people? What should happen? What should happen to them, Prinjeka?
Secretary Chris, to the people of the Southwest, let me call that, when you choose to be a slave, you're a slave. They're already a colonized slave. That's it. Others are fighting. They are a tool in the colonial master's hand. You know, we claim to be religious, but we don't read the Bible. When the children of Israel decided that they want to leave the Egyptians, you did not hear half. You did not hear some few. All of them were decided. If they wanted to stay, all of them stayed. The people of Southwest and all the youth, I want to say especially to the barbarians, they should know that they're already slaves. Their children will be slaves. They will not have no land. They will not have no job. They will suffer. They will work hard, but they will not have no destiny. If they don't stand up and fight, they are looking other people are dying and they think like it's a joke. They look other people are facing death, standing against the dictator, just like what their ancestors did. If you go to Bali, the children of late von Galiga, their ancestors are defending. If you go to Manu, the children of Manu are defending. If you come to the children of Kuvali, Kenya, they have decided that they want to live a life of, how can I call it, a life of slavery. It is their cup of tea. Their lands will be seized. They will not have any reputation. They will not have any dignity. They will not have nothing. They will live like slaves in that land. Even their own homes will be seized. So for me, it's not something, they say if rain fall for someone is in, you laugh, you know, say tomorrow will fall for your own. Today, when they look it going up in the northern zone, which they are representing the culture of the real people of the southern Cameroons, our ancestors were warriors. You did not hear in the history of southern Cameroon, they say Galiga Ford and Kuvali Kenya slept in the bed, or Galiga Ford and Endeli did this. No. You hear they say Kuva Ford, there was resistance, backward resistance. You hear Manu resistance. You hear the Bali resistance. You hear everywhere. They did not give one section. If they want to let themselves be assimilated by the French and let the wealth of their children be taken to Europe, it is their business. We will do what we have to do. The resistance will continue. Those who want to be rich or be greedy by themselves, they should learn from Frundi. Frundi got everything he got from France, but today there is no road even leading to his own house to show that he stood in an election that he won there. The same will happen to them. So you don't fool a baba.
That is a very good point there. Let me get to Eugene out there. Eugene, this has been history repeating itself every year. This CPDM elite B-Day in the southern or northern zone descend upon the territory and would want people to believe that, don't worry, we are there, but we are fighting. We are there, but we are fighting. They are fighting for their stomach. There is nothing they have brought home that has changed the situation. The war goes on. In fact, many of them have taken up residence in La République du Cameroon. What are we going to do to stop these people? Is it okay when I say these are blacklegs and enablers? Eugene, please.
Yes, I think that these kind of phenomenon always happen when you look at the struggle for independence with many countries. So there are always people who want to play on both sides, and there are always people who want to benefit from the situation. So that is also not new in Ambazonia, that we have some of our Ambazonian elite who are trying to make a fortune out of the crisis by playing both sides. And these people, history is going to remind them also that the end of those who did this kind of things in any place that they have been, any freedom for struggle, have always been very bad in South Africa, in Rwanda, in Tanzania, even in many places, they never ended well for those people. So we are saying to them that they have to stop, because these people are already acting as a liability to the community, to the society. They are endangering the life of many of our people. They are playing the game with the occupier, killing our people. They are facilitating the killing, enslavement, and looting of our natural resources. These people, under international law, they are supposed to be categorized the same as enemies. This was done in places like Eritrea. This was done in places like in Zimbabwe, for example. The blacks who decided to join the white to fight the other blacks in any way, they were considered as the terrorists as well. So to those people who are doing this game in Amazonia, we want them to know that under the law, under international law, we have to make this thing very clear, Comrade Chris, that our war is against the military combatant of Cameroon government and the regime itself. And these include facilitators, because when you facilitate the killing of people, when you facilitate the process where people are being killed and slaughtered and massacred, you yourself, you are becoming a major key player that we, the people of Amazonia, we are going to categorize you the same as the Cameroon military, the same as the Paul behind Yaoundé, and we are going to take the same actions that we are taking towards those people to you. So those elites have to know that it is high time for them to repent. It is high time for them to stop and do what is right and stand by the side of the people before they will meet their justice. And even if they never meet justice, when this struggle and when we get our free Amazonia, those people, where are they going to hide? Where are they going to go with their families? Because we are still going to. There's a long list of them that we are going to prosecute in the court in Amazonia, and they are going to go to jail for the rest of their lives. Let's not forget the same thing happened even in Nazi Germany. There were people who were tried in the court in Germany, in courts in Israel, in different countries, and they went to jail for their role of mainly being facilitating. Not that they were the active soldiers, they were just facilitating the killing of the Jews. And those who are facilitating the killing of Amazonia in any way, they should know that justice awaits them.
Thank you. Thank you. Well articulated. Comrade Sama, before I get to Pasho, Sama, you are very familiar to this tactic by French Cameroon enablers, so-called elite. They do these things to get the people feeling like, see, we are fighting for you. We are fighting for you. We can secure you. We can secure you peace. We can get things to normality. But people are not asking for peace. For 7 years, people are asking for justice, isn't it?
I've challenged the church, even when the venerated Cardinal Toomey was still alive, moving around shouting about peace and whatever. I challenge it out in the Bible where it was ever mentioned that we should fight for peace where there's no justice. For Jesus himself said, I've come to set my people free, delivering justice to his people. Where there is justice, you do not need to fight for peace. For once there's justice, peace fall in place. People who are complaining about fighting for peace know that there is something that is causing the havoc or the chaos wherever that restless situation is found, and it is the lack, the absence of justice. The people you call, I will call them developers. These are our so-called elites who are in Yaoundé. But our people have failed to give them the rightful treatment that they deserve. I single-handedly, the day you heard late Boya said, and I quote, they said, I am an outcast. I was the one who made single-handedly, who forced wine to make us over Radio Yaoundé. That they said he was an outcast. End of quote. So, Southern Cameroonians have failed as individuals to treat these people as their enemies. They think that maybe this person is a director, is a minister, is a member of my family. I used to say, even if you appoint my father as a minister, let my father be given the La Republic's presidency. I will be the very first person to try to kiss him. That he's not my father, and I will never want to see him crisscross or trespass in Southern Cameroon that is coming there as Mr. President of Cameroon. This is how we have to fight this cankerworm that has been eating us for the past 60 years, fighting for the development of their stomachs, instead of the development of the nation and the freedom of the state of the nation. We think that they are there representing us. First of all, we do not have anybody in Yaoundé today called a senator or a parliamentarian. Like in the Southern Cameroon, we do not have anybody that is a councillor or a mayor. Anybody running around with that title as from 2016, when the day comes, I've been saying it, that the institute the guillotine for you. There is no turning back with that. For you, these guys have committed treasonable felony against the state of the Southern Cameroon and must be given the treatment that such persons who've committed such crimes deserve.
All right. Thank you. Let me get to Don Pasio before I get to the interview, my monologue on the activist
Comrade Chris,
conference.
I wanted to add something on this point. I wanted to add something from what the last comment just.
Go on.
Yeah. So when we are talking about these elites who are playing this game, we also have to extend that to the diaspora, because now we have this phenomenon in the diaspora where there are Southern Cameroonians who are saying that, oh, I don't want for be tagged down a struggle, down a thing. If they come when they come to the meeting, they don't want their photos to be taken. They don't want to take photo with us. They don't want to be there because they want to go to Cameroon. So I am saying this is the same thing. If we are talking about those elites in Cameroon, we have to talk about the Ambazonians in the diaspora who are not involved in this struggle, and they are saying that they don't want to be tagged because they want to go to Cameroon. Chris, when you look at the Eritrea case, for example, and many other struggles, that the diaspora, everybody was fully involved. There was a roster, a list in every diaspora country. Every month, every person was paying their tax, citizen tax. It was well coordinated, right? And people from the diaspora were leaving the diaspora and going home to fight, trained people. You understand me? So the reason why that happened was because they made their struggle to be in a state that the people themselves were afraid. Because when people are not afraid, that's why this early they are not afraid. They are going around because they're not afraid. They don't see enough danger from us. That's why they think that Cameroon is a problem. But if we equip ourselves, organize ourselves, that our people can see that we are more threat than the Republic, they will obey our laws in the land. That's why those elites are going around. That's why there are people in the diaspora as well who are living the diaspora, go to Cameroon every day and night, and they refuse to support the struggle. They are going there and making money and business.
Yes.
So we cannot talk only about those on the ground. We have to talk about those in the diaspora as well. That this go the same to them.
You are 200% correct. There are Ambazonians in the diaspora who will not give a dime, yet they will tell you they stand for the war, they support the struggle, but you will never see them give a dime or show up at any public event like a rally, a protest, just because of the interest they still have in La République du Cameroon. They want you.
Exactly.
They want you and me to put our faces out there, fight for them.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
yes.
They say, oh, they got their country back. But Eritrea, as you said, did something. I learned that the Eritreans tasked every Eritrean in the diaspora $20 every month. They were tasked $20 every month. And if you had to go back there, you have to prove that you supported the struggle before you could carry out any development project back in Eritrea then. And I think if we can all come together as Ambazonia, irrespective of groups, and agree to some of these things, we can figure out the means of implementing levies like this. Because I have said here again and again, listen, I have no interest fighting this fight because my daughter is not going to live back in if we take Ambazonia tomorrow, my lone daughter is not going to live there. She will not leave the USA. She will still live here. I don't have anybody there to go and fight for. We don't have it. We don't even have a compound there burnt down. So we are not fighting here because there is something we want to go and pick there. We are fighting because we want to see our people liberated and free. And I think that anyone who says he loves and cares for Ambazonia ought to go, ought to be supporting the war.
Santa Chris, 1 minute, please. I don't know. Before Don Pasho come, just give me 30 seconds. I don't know, Don Pasho, please, let me drop some points here. Comrade, you did make a point. We have touched on the enemies, but we have not touched on ourselves. Yeah,
Yes.
to a certain extent, I don't blame the diaspora. If we remember, before Seseko went to jail, the momentum in diaspora was very high. People were ready to show their face. Some people are even in jail from diaspora. Some were arrested and deported back to the United States. I think to a certain extent, we need to also blame leadership after Seseko went to jail. We need to blame the compromise we have. And that's why we activists had a conference in Belgium, which I know you come into that. Because, for example, like the 20 May we had, which is coming up, we all have to understand that working under unifying guidance and oneness gives the people hope. Remember, there are many fighters who today, some of them are not alive, who have been begging you leaders in the diaspora. Many youths. Now, the production factor of every nation is the youths. If the youths are dead today, who can rebuild the Southern Cameroon we are claiming to fight for? So, to a certain extent, if you have to talk to the people of diaspora, they are willing to support. Under Sako, how much did the people which were under there, which still believed in the war list? Under Seko, how much did we get? Those are the evaluations and economic statistics we need to gather. And then we start seeing where we fail, how we can give hope to our people. You see that there are certain errors we did which the fighters were left vulnerable. Some started kidnapping. Those things we have to start stopping. When the kidnapping stop, and people feel like we are all speaking one voice, we agree on oneness, we do things unifyingly, then you will see that hope, that support.
We are going to get there. We are going to get there in the second part of this, Joshua. Hold your peace. We're going to get there. Let's give Don Pasio the opportunity to make a contribution on this idea of La Republique elite descending upon Ambazonia and coming again and again with the same lamentations that we have known for. I mean, we've known year after year. Don Pacho, your word, sir.
Yeah, Comrade Christopher, and what I will tell you is that the problem with our liberation struggle is that when we look at these elites, we have given them the chance, we have given them the courage to always go back and do whatever they want to do and believe that they will go in and out without any problems. When we look at what I will quote the Muslim religion, you can never insult Allah in front of any Muslim. If you mention the word Allah in a negative way, the Muslim community will descend on you without any pity. The problem is that our people have not gotten that education, that political education, that zeal, that love that they really want this freedom. They really want to gain this Ambazonia that we all are fighting for. We have this problem. Why? Because we as Ambazonians, we are very sorry as activists. We knelt down in Belgium. We are very sorry that we joined the ranks of politicians to fail our people, to deceive our people that we must, this is the president, this is the president, this is the leader. We fail them in that category. We lose focus of liberation. We lose focus of why we are fighting for this liberation. And we gave room for blacklegs. We gave room for the enemy. We gave room for these so-called people who are advocating now on social media, trying to discourage our people. We gave room for the Kunda Titus, the My Country people, the Clovis. We gave them the chance to seize over social
Don
media
Pasio,
and
I will disagree.
manipulate
I
our.
will disagree with you there. Those people have always been there. They have always been there from time immemorial. The question is, what do we do with them today?
That is what I am getting to, Comrade Chris Ano. Our people, we need as much as we can to look at each other, eyeball to eyeball. Can Comrade Christopher Anu look at Cho Ayaba and tell Cho Ayaba, my brother, what are we fighting for? Can Comrade Christopher Anu look
We
at
are going.
Yerima
Maybe
and
we're
say,
going to
Comrade
get to
Yerima,
that a little bit
can we? So
later. But that is
can we?
not. That is not.
If we don't get to this,
Maybe we're going to get to that later. But that is not the answer I expect for this particular question, because we are talking about people who have been known for over the years deceiving our people to stay in bondage and in slavery. The elite, the elite. You saw the so-called Musonge Commission. They made their rounds in the northern zone and southern zone, trying to let the people know solutions are coming. They never came. We now see in the northern zone elites
Comrade
going there,
Christopher Anu,
trying to
they
tell
are
the people
using,
peace is coming. They
they
go
are
to the
do,
southern zone,
they are
peace is
doing
coming.
this,
Peace will never come because
they are
people
doing
don't
this
want
because
peace,
we
they want justice, right?
They are doing this because we gave them the chance to do it. If we born, look at the liberation struggle in 2016, look at the liberation struggle in 2017, look at the liberation struggle in 2018. These people were very scared of getting into our territory. But immediately politicians started fighting for whatever we're fighting, they got the courage. When we bond back together, bring back the life that we used to have in 2016, 2017, I bet you our forces on the ground will receive what they need to do to defend and stop these baboons. I'm sorry to use these words. These people that do not care for me and you, they don't care for the children that are being killed every day. They don't care even for the military, the so-called Republic military that are there to defend their so-called territorial boundaries. They don't bother about them. But if we as Ambazonians, we work as a team, I bet you these people will never see the borders of our territory getting into Ambazonia. Let us as Ambazonians born and we will see what is ahead of us.
All right, thank you, Don Pasho. That said, let me take you all to this Belgium activist conference that all of you convened on the April 28th, in the Belgium, I am hoping that this is the beginning, or this marks the beginning of something new that takes this struggle to another level. And let me take you guys into my second monologue then for that conference. So please stay tuned. I will be right back in 1 minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you find the title there on your screen, Activists Regroup. Activists Regroup. That can be summarized to be the subject of the Belgium meeting that took place April the 28th. What did they aim at achieving? What did they aim at achieving? They once played a frontline role in Ambazonia's quest for independence. But all of a sudden, they vamoosed into oblivion, and also by their own making. I am here, of course, referring to Ambazonian activists, as you know them. However, on April 28, they summoned themselves to a meeting in Belgium in which they hope to resurrect, I guess, their relevance in the cause. In the past, partisanship activism killed them. And once the darling and asset to Ambazonia, they became liabilities to the struggle. The question on the balance at the moment is whether Belgium is enough to clean them of the level of negativity that they had self-accumulated. I have taken time to read through the resolutions, all of them from Belgium. And I must say, while commending them for coming together, the resolutions still leave much to be desired. One thing that is muzzled up in the resolutions is a lack of clarity on the role of the activists in this revolution or struggle. The definition of an activist in this struggle has never been properly defined, and Belgium did not do that justice. Belgium presents a mixed bag of what the activists in our case should be doing. For instance, somewhere in the resolutions, they talk about activists supporting the groups and building cohesion. That is very good and actually falls within the definition of the duty of activists. However, they state also in another paragraph how they will support only one kind of conference, without any concerns or raising any concerns as for the what, the where, the who, and the how of such a conference. What if Cameroon should sponsor an all-Ambazonia conference using one of the leaders, or some of the leaders? The activist will push it down the throats of Ambazonians because it is AAC? Is that what they mean? Maybe they should as well have endorsed then the Grand National Dialogue because they invited all Ambazonians. In yet another paragraph, the activists assume the rule of declaring what 11 February and 20th May should be called, as if they have any authority and means to apply and enforce it. These are things that should be left in the hands of decision makers. Activists have the right to advocate for it, not declare it. I think that at the time, the activists hope they can once more assume their relevance in the struggle. It is very important that they start on a good footing. The good footing is in knowing exactly who an activist is and who his or her role in the struggle should be. Is he or she the decision maker or the advocate for good decision making? The latter is true. An activist is someone who takes action to bring about social, political, economic, and environmental change. Activists work towards a specific goal or cause, in this case, a free Ambazonia, using a variety of methods such as organizing protests as they did before, lobbying decision makers, advocating for policy changes for as long as they struggle. Activists raise awareness through media campaigns or social media and engaging in other forms of advocacy. The word here, or the emphasis here, is advocacy. Advocacy, not decision making, and not partisanship. Activists can only be very relevant in this struggle, when they realize that their role is advocacy, not partisanship. And I hope that going forward, this becomes the norm. And once more, I am joined by Prince J. K, Eugene Ufoka, Don Pasio, and Comrade Samuel Thomas. These are all activists. And J.K., I will come back to you again and start with you. It was great. It was great to see your conference in Belgium. In Belgium.
They can
I,
let me go first with the
you
question.
want to go first? All right. All
It's
right. Let me start
okay.
with
Yes.
you then.
Let me start. It's okay.
Who want to start?
Secretary,
Don't be worried. I will
secretary
ask
said,
both of you the same question, so don't be worried.
it's
Now,
okay.
you
It's
wrote
okay.
in your resolutions, listen to this. You wrote in your
Yes.
resolutions, this is something that, this is what you wrote there. They have made further resolutions, they, referring to the activists, have made further resolutions in their post-conference discussions aiming to build a more cohesive and inclusive liberation movement. Now the question is, uh, how do you hope to achieve this building a cohesive liberation movement? Eugene, if you want to start, that is okay.
Let me
Yeah.
start,
I'll
Eugene.
start.
You want to?
Yeah,
Go.
let me go, Chris. Yeah. So,
Okay, go on.
Mr. Chris, I just wanted to say that on the previous point you were making before, we as activists, we educate, we advocate, and we take action to put this struggle on the right course.
Are you
You mentioned
putting
advocacy.
emphasis on
That's
the word? Hold on there. Are you putting emphasis on the word advocate?
I'm saying three things, three words. We educate the masses,
Yes.
we advocate for policies, international community, and both within the struggle, and we also take action. Those are the three things that complete the work of an activist. An activist cannot do the two and then don't do one, the last one of taking action. Because in the history of activism, people like Nelson Mandela, people like Gandhi, people like Martin Luther King, they are all activists. They educate, they advocate, and they took action when it was needed. So that is why we, the activists, we
Hold
also
on a
have the
second.
right
Hold
to
on a
exercise.
second there, because I like us to make some boundaries here. In the context of this, in the context of this, our struggle, I like us to distinguish between the leaders, the group leaders, I mean, and individual activists who should be out there just to see that the right things are done. Go on.
Comrade Chris, first of all, we are all leaders in this struggle. So you cannot, nobody was entitled or elected to be a leader of this struggle. And in the struggle of freedom, there is never this kind of political process where you say somebody is a leader. Political leaders only come when we have a free country, where we have a process to elect them. Right
So,
now, every Southern
so then
Cameroonian,
the question is, if there is no leader, who do you hope?
everybody is an activist.
Who do you hope?
Every
Who do you hope sits on the table in the case of, say, a mediation to mediate on behalf of you and all of Amazonia,
we
all the
are saying that
activists?
Southern No, Southern Cameroonian experts are going to sit there, but you don't have to differentiate, because this is a problem we have in this struggle. That some people think that they are sitting on a higher ground. They are leaders. Nobody is sitting on that place. We are all comrades. We are all foot soldiers. We are all people who are fighting to free our homeland. When that will be done and completed, then we are
Love
going
that,
to
my
get
boy.
political leaders who are going to
Good,
be elected. So I think that every
good.
foot soldier is doing the work to free Amazonia. They own the right, they own the responsibility and the title to call themselves as, as someone who is working for the struggle. It's not that we have to say person A is a leader, person B is a leader. That is a problem, Chris. That's the mindset that we, the activists, we are coming that no, we need to destroy and
I get
demolish,
you. I
because
get you.
everybody's
I get
contribution.
you. I get
Yeah.
you completely, and I agree
This
with the context of
one
it.
there.
But let me ask you: do you belong to a group?
No, I don't. Right
No,
now,
you belong to you belong to a group.
no, no,
All
no, no,
right,
no. Chris, listen,
let me
listen.
get to Prince Jeka there. Prince Jeka, you are itchy to say something. Go on.
Chris, you make me laugh.
First of all, Prince Jeka, do you agree that the work of the activist should be that of an advocate? Advocate for good leadership, good decision making. Do you agree with that?
Secretary Chris, before I answer your question whether I
I
agree or
am
not, I would
Comrade
like to
Chris. I
talk
am not
about
still the secretary. I'm Comrade Chris.
okay, whether let me I don't know where they come from. I call comrade. But let me say this. As a veteran activist of this revolution,
As
we have
what?
done the part of our as a veteran activist, which have been
Well, I
since it
don't think you
started.
want to go. Well, you can give it to
I
yourself, but I
want,
don't know whether the people watching you agree you are a veteran. But go on.
let me learn. Just let me speak. Um, in the case of this restoration movement, we have dissected all of you calling yourself leaders. We have dissected all of you. I've worked
You,
with
you
you.
mean you
What
who?
is- I want to summarize
I
your
think no,
monologue.
no, no,
Let
no.
me.
I think you should address yourself.
I
Say
want to
I.
summarize it.
Say I. Don't say we because you
Okay,
can't speak on behalf of
I'll come
somebody
to you.
else.
Good, but I'm talking on myself and those who I've worked for.
Okay, good.
Can I learn?
Go on.
Good. So when it comes to you telling us like we cannot take actions, as an activist, we once first who guided this revolution when Bala they were in jail. We guided this revolution, and when Pakistan came out, we gave them power back. Now, when we come back
You
and
are
see that,
confusing one thing there. You are confusing one thing there.
I want you to explain.
Hold on. I will allow you to respond. Hold on. You are confusing one thing. Mark
I'm not
Barita and
confusing.
Dabang Ivo were the leaders of this struggle at that particular time. You distinguish
I
that
said,
between
let me keep
activists.
some of your
When
monologue.
they listen, when they dropped the mantle at that moment, what happened? They became activists, but at the moment they were taking the decisions and holding the conferences and rallying Ambazonians, they were not just activists, they were leaders. They can no longer function in that role, in that position today. That is what distinguishes them today from being leaders. Do you understand? So go on.
Secretary, when you give a monologue, as an activist, I have the right to summon your monologue and
Correct.
respond to you, then question,
Yes.
right?
Go on. Yeah.
I'm summoning your monologue and I'm responding to you back because from your monologue, what I got there, you say we don't have the right to take actions. We only have to advocate. That's why I want to summon your monologue and I give it back to you. And then I
Go
tell
on.
you what now I
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do that. Go ahead and do that.
do. First of all, the formula of this revolution is unity. Unity, collaboration, then finance. That's my formula as an activist. Unity, collaboration. That's what defeats La Republic every time. Now, which you leaders have failed. We have waited, fighters have died, politics, money have been missing, people have been discouraged to contribute, and we activists are coming in. Now, when we are coming in, we have advocated, we have worked with many of you. You rightly said you were partisans to other leaders. I can remember doing Watana Wata money for other kind of people. We are tired of that. And we realize that giving titles, like all the titles you guys have, like number one, Sikh, I'm happy you said I should call you comrade. Number one, Sikh, DOD, and DOS, of all those names makes your head blown. We don't have a country. That's why in our resolution we said everyone is comrade. We are setting this level for equilibrium because we have realized that when we give power to people, they don't focus on the cause. They focus on the pride, whereas we haven't achieved anything. So as activists, we are making everybody equal because we realize that when everyone is equal, we can collaborate. We can form that bond which La Republic is scared of, that bond which La Republic banded the consortium under Bala. That's the bond we are building now. And that's the force we are coming with. Because we have realized that giving titles or working to each and every one of you, you want to corrupt our mindsets as young people. And we are the production factor of Southern Cameroon. And our youths are dying. So I want to tell you that we have advocated. Like, for example, the 20th May, I called you yesterday and I told you, Secretary Chris, other groups are accepted for 2 days. You said no, 3 days. But because we had a resolution that we go with the majority, our outings are out that is 2 days. That's to tell you the force we are coming with. because we have
All right,
advocated. We have.
hold on there. We hear you now. This is the question. This is the problem with you activists. When instead of doing advocacy, you want to decide what happens on the ground, and you have no dime to put into the hands of those fighters. You don't sit together to discuss how those things are implemented. Do you know the procedure, the process of us or any group calling for a lockdown? We sit down, we'll hold meetings. We sit down, we'll consult with the fighters who are implementing it. And you just come from there as an activist and you say, oh, we'll make it 2 days. Joshua, what I'm saying to you is activists should be out there to carry out advocacy and not take decisions or actions that you cannot implement. You do that, you are messing up with the revolution. Let me hold on a second. Hold on. Listen. Egg of C. No, listen. Egg of C. They have a force on the ground, isn't it? They do. This international force on the ground, isn't it? They do. When we call for action, why not listen to me? Let me land. Then you can. I will give you the opportunity. When we call for action, we are consulting with these fighters on the ground, and we're actually putting money into their hands to see that that action takes place. So when you call yourself an activist and sit down and you make these resolutions, put them on paper, how do you enforce those things?
So to Chris, one of the highest individuals and people with reputation in this revolution and activists. Let me ask you a question back. Tell me one
answer
leader.
My question. Answer my question. You came here to answer questions. How, when you take decisions, you want to enforce, to announce lockdown, tell Ambazonians how you want to implement it as activists.
If we go out to the public today and ask for money, Ambazonians will give us because
they will not give you. They lost confidence in all of you. You know that. You couldn't account for what?
You guys
they lost confidence in you. That is why. That is why it's difficult for you to come on the screen now. All right. Let's get to Don Pasio there. Let's get to Don Pasio. Don Pasio. Don Pasio.
I'm not done.
Maybe you can answer this question. The activists sit in Europe and they say, JK said he called me. Actually, yes, he called me, and he suggested to me that, the activists have decided that lockdown should take place for only 2 days, and we should cancel the 3 days lockdown and go with what the activists have decided. And I was like, activists? Since when did activists become decision makers? In what mechanism do they have to use in implementing and enforcing lockdown? Do you see anything wrong with that, Don Pasio? Go on, please.
Comrade Christopher Ano, I will first of all start by asking you, are you an interviewer or are you in this panel to discuss with us? Because if you are an interviewer, you ask a question, you need to listen for us to respond to. Because you are intervening when JK is responding to your questions, you are instead being a panelist rather than being an interviewer. You need to listen when we are responding to your questions. You should not be a panelist and be an interviewer.
Don't Pastor. The reason I interject is because when I ask questions, I want answers. I don't want this merry-go-round that ends up nowhere. You understand?
Okay, now
so
before I answer your question,
do you think?
Yeah,
let me ask a question. Do you think activists sitting somewhere and then calling other leaders and saying, we activists have decided lockdown should take place for 2 days? Do you think that that was the right thing to do?
Before I answer your question, I want to go back again to your monologue.
Okay.
Like JK said, because your monologue, first of all, is to me like problematic. In your monologue, you stated that activists should advocate without taking decisions. Yes, we advocated for the right things and we debunk the wrong things. For example,
absolutely, that is what you should be doing. You advocate for the right thing, yeah. I support you. You debunk wrong things, I support you.
can I finish, sir?
Go on.
Before you came out there to start crying, shouting, Sako Ekome stole money, Sako, I don't partial. Some of us activists, we presented the facts, but you, Comrade Christopher Ano, you defended those facts. You debunked those facts that we brought to the public. You know, I was one of those who fought Sako Ekoma in the House of Country and Regional Representatives when we discovered that money was being missing without even the public, without even Ambazonians knowing that something was happening.
And
You were one
you
of those
did
who
the
stood
right
and fought for
thing.
him.
You were doing the right thing. Whether you were wrong or right, you did the right thing. That is the job of the activist. But again, the job of the
Okay,
activist is
now
not
let
to
me come
take
to your
is
question.
not to take decisions. Can you take care of?
Let,
Can you
let
answer
me
that?
come, let me come now to your question. We as activists, my brother Prince Jeka, maybe he did not put the right words in the right places.
Okay.
We as activists, we did not decide on any lockdown. We consulted all the groups. That is why he came to you. We were in consultation with all the groups because we are the ones as activists
Which groups?
to
Which can you
portray
name the groups
all.
that you consulted?
We consulted all. I repeat, all. We,
Why not just try
including
to? Why
you,
not just name them?
including. How do you want me to start calling? Okay, we consulted the
Just
ADF.
name those. I mean, there are not many.
We
There are not
consulted
many
the
of them,
ADF.
right?
We consulted the ADF. We consulted Marianta's IG. We consulted Sisiku's IG. We consulted Sako's IG. We consulted Akwanga's APLM. We consulted. I cannot. The list is too
So
long.
far,
We
I have not heard
consulted
them make an
all.
announcement out there conforming to your decisions.
We,
Consultations.
we consulted. Did you make an announcement? Did you, as Christopher Anu, make an announcement that activists consulted you? The answer is no. Now the people are hearing it on air.
No,
We, as
you
Ambazonian
can't.
activists, please
Hold
let me
on.
finish my
Let me
question
correct
and
the
I
record.
will,
Don't pass you. Let me correct the record.
yeah.
I was consulted yesterday. Guess when we made the announcement for lockdown? More than a week ago. Where were you
They can
before then?
be,
You were not
they
thinking
can
ahead of
be a,
time. We are
they
thinking
can
ahead
be.
of time. You were thinking only yesterday.
We accept that we consulted you late, but you could have done a recorrigendum. But let
So
us
I would have
continue.
cancelled it and said the activist
Let me
says we should hold it
no,
for
not
2 days.
activists, not activists said we consulted all the groups. 90% of the groups said 2 days. We have their replies, we have their letters of confirmation for 2 days.
All
Many of
right.
them replied us for 2 days. So it is not the activist decision, it is the decision of all other groups.
All right, let me get to Sama Thomas on this subject of activists coming in and not being advocates, but this trying to be decision makers. Comrade Sama, this is I mean you are a big activist out there from day number one. Is that the rule of activists?
Well, Comrade Chris, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I've been acting a long time that activists, let me not know exactly what activism is all about. For activism is to propagate the messages of a given movement or account find ourselves into and to correct leaders from up there to names, but not to take the position of policymakers. But unfortunately, my brothers haven't understood this for quite a long time and they still keep on making the same mistake, which now pushes statement. You know, as a Catholic Christian, the day I went to baptism, or most of us, the day we are going to take to receive baptism, we in our minds we think that when we receive baptism, something might change in us from our personality. But we didn't know after taking receiving baptism, you will come out to be the same person that went into church to receive baptism. So what am I trying to say here? What I've heard my brother saying here is that brochures didn't come out with anything substantive in this struggle, for we still go on in our usual style. Like it is said, you can never teach a monkey how to climb a tree. So I thought in Brussels they were going to come out to say we've been too long in these divisive tendencies, and we've taken a stand that this is how we're going to move on with things. All of us must come together. But what I hear is that they went to Brussels to to endorse groups and antagonize other people because they do not love those people that they want to antagonize. That is why, commentaries, you hear they've contacted Egg of Sea, they've contacted Sako, they've contacted Marianta. This is the second time for the hear the story. For last Sunday, I was in a meeting as well, and this same story came up that the Southern Capital Store now has over 27 corporations. Just at what point are we going to stop with the creation of groups? For tomorrow, I might come up with myself being ICIC like Capo Daniel has done. Are we going to also accept Thomas Thomas up as ICIC and now he is a group? I don't think I need to blow this point. I want to send them back. They should go back, get their thinking cap, put it on before they out exactly what they went to Brussels to do.
All right.
If Brussels
Comment,
to continue with the way
Chris,
they are
I want
asking
to comment.
Yes,
then
I hear
Brussels
you, Eugene. Hold on in there. All right, Eugene, I will come back to you, but thanks for
Chris,
that.
Chris, no. I think we shouldn't end on that note. Really,
No, we're
I
not ending
think we
there. We're
finished
not ending there. I want to add a question.
on
You
that
can
note.
then and bring you in. Then you can add whatever you want to add on it because it will help. Because this is what one of the things that comes out of Belgium. You say the activists unanimously designated. I'm quoting from your resolution that you unanimously designated Tapang and Barita as spokesperson for the liberation struggle. End of quote. I don't know whether you meant as spokesperson for activists or for the liberation struggle. If you can take that and answer. Go ahead,
Of course,
Eugene.
of course, we made spokesperson for the activist group, not for
Awesome.
the
That then
struggle. Why would we
you
become?
answered with that.
Yeah, yes. So I want to go back again. We,
Yes.
the activists, we are saying that we have a responsibility to educate, advocate, and take action. And taking those action doesn't mean that we are becoming or we see ourselves as political leaders. We only take those action when we see that we have the responsibility because it is about our own lives. It's about our people. So we have to act. Somebody needs to act. Now we are here, and your narration of the activist conference is in such a negative way. You are trying to say that activists are trying to act as the imposters or as some leaders. Now that is not what we are saying. That's not what we went to Brussels to do. We came to Brussels because we want to come together. We say no to partisan politics. We say no to groupism. We come together from all our groups. Prince Jeka and me, we used to query. We used to never talk. But we met first time in Brussels. In Brussels, we resolve our issue. Say we are done with groups. We are done with politics. We want to put only the struggle first and nothing else. And we are not saying that we are leaders. We are facilitators. We, especially this issue about the lockdown, we went and discussed with the various groups. We went to suggest to them. We went with recommendations. We didn't go to anybody and impose to them as we are some force of authority. No, we didn't do that. We did not do that. And again, from the point that the last speaker was talking about the activists that we activists supposed to just advocate. No, no, no. Activism include taking action. It means taking responsibility. Actions can be financial actions. You can be taking action by giving money. You can be taking actions by going to places, because I have gone to so many meetings. I have traveled the world to do diplomacy for this struggle. I went as a Southern Cameroonian activist. That's how I went. So, and that entitles me the right. For Dindika was going around. It's not because people they have a title in the head that they're a leader. No, that's not the point. It's because they are somebody who is concerned and who is involved in the crisis, in any struggle, and they go forward. But in Southern Cameroons, you people want to set some kind of a status as if some leaders are some royal blood people. They have a divine, they were divinely ordained to be leaders. No, anybody can act as we are going to do that. Every Southern Cameroonian is going to, who is interested and who want to have the right to express and to execute their actions in order to protect their people back home. That action doesn't belong to a certain group of people who call themselves leaders. That action doesn't belong to some certain group of people who are because who think that they are old or they were there before somebody else. That action belongs to every son and daughter of Ambazonia to fight, to resist the oppression of Cameroon. And that is something we want to make very clear. We as activists, we stand for that. We are not leading anybody. We are saying that we want to stop all the group politics. We want to be as a platform where our leaders can reach out to us, we can facilitate people, can connect people to do things together. Like the lockdown, Chris, you talked that you said that you put your lockdown 1 week before. I will ask you one question. Why did you put it 1 week before everyone else? Well, you tried to be the first to say it, and you went
Not
ahead
Christmas,
and you
sorry,
went.
a point of order
Yes,
there. Point of order there. A point of order there. Not Christmas lockdown. A point of order, not Christmas lockdown.
it was whose lockdown? Can you tell me
A
whose lockdown was that?
lockdown called
Did the people of
Cameroon.
Amazonia say
If you do
anything?
not adapt,
Did the people of
don't say
Amazonia
it
make any
was Christmas
lockdown?
lockdown as if doing it as an individual.
Yeah, that is his unilateral action, him and his group. They didn't consult anybody else. And that is completely unacceptable in Amazonia. We want. In this struggle going forward, no group or any leader should sit in their homes in diaspora and unilaterally take a decision without consultation of other groups. And that is where we come in.
Eugene, if I may
Yes.
interrupt you there, I realize that both of you, all of you here, were not very happy with my monologue out there. But that is exactly the problem. That is exactly the problem. When you gathered in
No, Chris,
Europe, in
Chris,
Belgium, we
it's not
thought
that we're
that
not
you will
happy.
sit down. Let me finish. We thought that you will come out saying, you know what, all these partisanship and divisive tendencies are going to be buried. No, just
did.
come out and
We did.
the
Chris,
tendency
we
just
did.
continue. You came
It
up
is
No,
before
there
I
Chris,
on
met.
the
Chris,
resolution,
Let me finish. Let me
Christopher
finish. I'll give you
Arnold.
the chance
It
to
is there.
respond. You came. You listened to our announcement for lockdown. If you guys really meant to build cohesion, you would then come to us and say, "Hey, Comrade Chris, we learned you guys announced a lockdown already for Thursday, the 18th. We were thinking, we've talked to other people who were thinking that maybe we'll do this. But look, this is what you guys are trying to do. You think that you can come to constituted groups and tell them what they ought to be doing. That is the problem with you, the activists.
I have
Chris,
asked
that
a
is not
question
our
from
problem.
Christopher
That
Arnold.
is not our
Comrade
problem. That is a
Upaka,
problem.
please, can I interject a little bit, please?
Wait,
Let me
All right,
interject.
all right.
let me
Then
answer
I shall
Don
come
Pacho.
in
Don
there.
Pacho, let me finish now.
Let Comrade Christopher Arnold, I have said in my beginning that are you an interviewer or you are a panelist with us? Because
He's a
you are
panelist.
not allowing us to speak. You invited us for us to speak, for us
Don't
to
Pastor, I
answer your
am
question.
actually doing both.
Don
Okay,
Pacho, he's also a
now,
panelist here.
I didn't just
so you
invite
are
you to
also
come
a
here and
panelist.
talk 24/7 and walk away, right?
No,
Exactly.
you ask us questions.
Yes,
If
and I
you
want
ask us
answers.
questions,
The
you
people
give us
watching you
the time
want
to
answers.
answer. You talk about you were expecting us to go to Belgium and come back and say stop to politics. It is there in our resolutions that We are not going to be in any political dangling anymore with any groups. We are going to be in consultation with all the groups. You said in your monologue that we talked about and we are going to support an all Ambazonian conference. Yes, we accept, we agree that we are going to support an all Ambazonian conference. Why did we say so? Because there was a group of Ego C, Yerimas IG, APLM consortium calling an all Ambazonian conference. There was another group of Christopher Anu and the other side of the people calling an all Ambazonian conference. We, as activists, we will not advocate or tell our people to attend any of these conferences because this is not an all Ambazonian conference. This is an
So
all
can
divided
you then
Ambazonian conference.
define? Can you then define?
We,
Hold on. You and your activists are not going to encourage any Ambazonians to attend any of these conferences. Can you then tell Ambazonians which conference you will tell them to attend if they did? If
the
they will actually
conference
listen to
we
you?
will tell our people to attend is when we see Comrade Christopher Anu, Comrade John Ba Akuru, Comrade, all of you agreeing together to call an all Ambazonian conference, not an all divided Ambazonian conference. A
And
group of
that is
Ambazonians
exactly
calling
what I am talking about. That is
that
the
is
role of an
not an all
activist.
Ambazonian conference.
That is the role of an activist. But unfortunately, I have been championing that cause all alone. Until now, I have not heard a single activist saying if a conference that is called All Ambazonia must take place, that all the leaders and stakeholders should sit down and convene it. I have not heard that. Is that what you're going to be doing, preaching now? That would be good.
We went to Belgium. You read the resolutions, and it was there in the resolutions. That is what I am backing up because you presented it as if you said we should have advocated for the major national dialogue of the enemy La Republic.
No, I
of
didn't say
Cameroon.
that.
That
You've said
it
that.
is there.
All right,
It
go
is
on.
there. So we are clarifying the air that as activists, we are going to advocate, preach for our people to call all our leaders. Let's keep
Let me see.
group
The
affiliation aside
point of what
and
I had on
bring our
Pacho.
people
The point of
together.
what I heard on Pacho. It seems I'm not getting something. Do you mean to say that Comrade Chris has said elsewhere that the activists should endorse La Republique's whatever thing? Where did you read that? If I'm not mistaken.
In his monologue, he said, why did the activists, they did not, it is as if the activists should have endorsed the La Republique's national dialogue. He said, if La Republique uses one of them as leaders, as they call themselves, to call for an all Ambazonian conference, are we going to endorse? That is why I am clarifying it here and now that we are not going to endorse or advocate for any all Ambazonian conference being called by any so-called leader. We want all. We want all. When they use the word all Ambazonian conference, it means all, not divided. We mean all.
All right, good, good. Let me just correct.
Please, let me come in here. Let me come in here. There's something.
Simon,
there's
hold on.
something here
Simon,
that,
hold on there a second. This is what I said, Don Pasho. I don't think you got the context. I said that.
Good.
I stated that in another paragraph of your resolutions.
For example.
You mentioned how you will support only one kind of conference without any concerns. As per the what, the where, the who, and the how of such a conference. So it appears that you were just saying in your resolutions, anything AAC, all Ambazonian conference, you will support. So I then added, what if Cameroon should sponsor an all Amba conference using one of us or some of us?
We said we will support
You
one.
will push
only
it
one.
down the throats of Ambazonians because it is AAC? Maybe you should as well have endorsed the Grand National Dialogue. That's what I
That is
said.
why I am clear. That is why I am clarifying it here again, Comrade Chris, that we said we are going to support a one AAC. The word A means the letter A in the first A is all. We don't want an all divided. We want an all Ambazonia, because if you, Comrade Chris, and another groups of Ambazonia calls for a conference, Sako and the other groups call for a conference and terms it all Ambazonian conference. It is not all Ambazonian conference. You
Of
can
course, I
bear
agree
me
with you about
with
that. I
that.
agree with you about, but let's get on to
So,
Joshua Khan. He has been quiet a little bit there. Let's move to Joshua. Let me read something also emanating from your resolutions in Belgium. You said activists intend to hold discussions with other activists to make them see the need for all of them to look in the same direction. But in the planning of this your conference in Belgium, you actually kicked out some other activists from the planning steps. Why should the other activists now trust you? Joshua.
Senator Chris, I just want to be a listener, because the first topic we had, it was like you just want me to speak something that suits you. I think I
No,
will
no,
just
no.
be
Go
more of a
ahead.
listener.
Anything you want to say from the first topic, go ahead. You have the microphone. Go
I
ahead,
need to
Joshua.
speak
You
up.
don't have to.
I just want to be a listener, so I just listen, because it's like someone is scared of me talking.
Who's
So I just
scared
that's
of
how I've been
you?
quiet and I've been listening.
You just be listening.
Yeah, because when I want to talk for the first phrase we're talking, it was like you wanted to just tell me what I need to know,
You
but I'm
are
telling you
not
the
the
fact.
only guest here. There are 4 guests here, and when you speak, you have to
That's
know that
the topic.
you have to give opportunity for others to speak. There are 4 of you
Yeah,
here, and
no,
you can't
I'm not saying
dominate.
that to
So, well, if
speak.
you cannot
I'm
answer the question, let me go to Eugene. Oh, I can't find him here. I think
I'm
he's
saying this I'm saying
uh,
to you, Mr.
uh,
Chris. I'm saying if
Don
we're in
Pasio.
a
If I
country,
may come back to you, please. You say here in your resolutions that you intend to hold discussions with other activists to make them see the need for all of them to look into the same direction. Good idea. However, during the planning process of this your Belgian conference, you kicked out some other activists from your forum. You won't allow them to participate in the organization. Why do you think they will now trust you?
Can I
Comrade
take that
Chris,
question?
thank you
After
for
Don
that
Pasio,
question.
I will come to you, Eugene. Hold on there. Go on, Don Pasio.
Thank you very much for that question, Comrade Chris. When we started this organization of this conference, we brought in every activist that we knew that was advocating and working towards the liberation of Ambazonia. We said, let us try to fix our differences. Let's try to organize a conference. Those who were being kicked out are those who came in and were categorically criticizing us, saying that it will not work, trying to push a negative narrative and trying to make things difficult for us to see how we can work and plan for a conference. They were there disrupting, insulting, and calling us, this person is supporting this person is from this IG, this person is from AGOFC, this person is from this, we cannot work with this. Meanwhile, we were coming to see how we can bond together, how we can keep our differences and build together as activists. Comrade Chris, we were in Belgium on the 28th, the night of the 28th. We spent close to 6 to 7 hours as activists locked up in a room together. We sat there, we spoke to each other, we forgave each other, we made sure everybody left satisfying. Resolutions were being made, we were talking as one. Nobody raised a finger for vote, because when we came out with a topic, all of us, we discussed as brothers. and we try to see if there is a doubt from anybody. We try to see how we can make that person to understand what we are doing. But during the planification process, these guys never allow us even to start the planification, Comrade Chris. How then do you want us to continue keeping them and they're distracting in the forum? We needed space for work.
All right, wonderful, great answer there. Let me get to Eugene. You come in there, Eugene.
On the same question,
Yes, you wanted to speak on the same question, isn't it?
yeah, I think that Don Pacho already nailed the nail on the right spot there, and I think that that's exactly. And we have to also understand that, Chris, sometimes when change have to come, some people are slow to see it, and we think that it's important to start this fragile process right now. And later on, we are going to convince, we are going to talk to this one. By the grace of God, they are going to see the good in the process. So, and I think that that's the thing. And sometimes also, Mr. Chris, we have to be honest, even God cannot save all the souls. Some people are going to go to hell because it's just their nature. So we 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 are going to work with those who are willing, the committed few. So that's what is going to happen. And I want to thank you, Mr. Chris, for coming today very prepared also to debate with us. We like this spirit of debate and argument. You know, we believe in the argument of the force of argument, not the argument of force. So I like that you come also with another guy there who is actually see as an opposition to us. So it's very good. Well done. Let's
I'm
move
just
on.
thank you. I'm just trying to make sure that listen, we will all work together. I think you guys know me. I embrace any and every person in this struggle that I see trying to do the right thing and remaining consistent. Consistency is the key word. I have said here,
I like to
we
hear
are
that.
raising
Yeah.
funds. We are raising funds on a daily basis for as long as any group on the ground is fighting for Ambazonia. We don't care whether they are loyal to us. We will give funds to that group to fight and take over Ambazonia. That applies to the activists. If the activists will show us that they can shun and walk beyond partisanship and just do the thing, call wrong and call right, I'm telling you, we will work very smoothly. That's all that I want to say. But let me get to some.
Definitely.
Go on, go on.
Definitely, Mr. Chris. That's what we are going to do, and we also have to exercise diplomacy because we are not trying to change our old ways, and it might take time to be seen. So we are changing, and even the leaders as well. It's not going to be easy for them to just change completely. So we need time, and the resolutions. This conference is just like 2 weeks ago, so we need time for you people to start to see the fruit of this thing. And for example, one of the classic example now we have now today is the lockdown that you are talking about because you went ahead unilaterally, you call for a lockdown, and now others are coming behind you and their data opposite to yours.
Well, that
This
has
is why
always
we are
been the case.
saying
We're
in
not worried
Brussels.
about that. Forget about that.
Yes,
Lockdown starts on
yes,
the 18th. That has always been the case. But we're not worried about that. We care about enforcing it. So activists should not be worried about that. But let me go to Sama
Comrade,
Thomas here.
Comrade Chris, before you go to Samuel Thomas, I just want to intervene and correct something that you are doing. Please,
Okay.
You see?
your on your Facebook page, if we are democratic as Ambazonians, your comment section has been blocked. We need to open it for viewers to add their contributions as well because we need the feedback from viewers
Don't
as
don't pass
well
your don't pass
for us
your
to know
don't
how
pass your
to
hold on,
go
hold on.
back
Let me stop you
on
there. Let me
our
stop
own
you there.
meetings and
Hold
work.
on, hold on, hold on. Stay there. You are lying to the public now because I can read you the comments. I can read your comments from your supporters right now from Facebook, and you say it has been blocked. Mbumo Njomo right. Funds from where? You also write, Christopher Arnold, you are a thief. You should be ashamed of yourself. How can you say we'll lock you out with comments like this? Shouldn't we block comments like this? But we don't block them. When you come here,
No,
speak the truth.
the comment section has
All
been
right. No, let
blocked.
me get to Sama
We need
Thomas,
a
please. Let me get to Sama
somebody has
Thomas.
also insulted me before this show that I
Sama
am a drug
Thomas,
addict. I don't care.
you were one
If
of
I'm not a
those.
drug addict, how can I?
You were one of those who was kicked out of the activist forum at the eve of this Belgium conference. Why were you kicked out, sir? What reasons were given for you being kicked out? And this was taking
I
place in
don't
your
even know
backyard.
that there was a forum. I don't even know that there was a forum created for the activists In particular, before being a member, I was never kicked out because even if I was there, I think I could have also taken myself out. Reason being that before the activists called the conference in Brussels, there was already a document there which we put out outlining collaboration for unity and how it can work, which I term it the Athenian democracy. I will be the best that will start, we're going to pick it up from there and move forward. But unfortunately, like it is typical of the Southern Cameroonian person on reinvent. That is what has bedeviled us in this struggle from time immemorial. I heard Eugene describe me as you brought some guy. What an insult.
The Chris brought you.
All right.
If Eugene can be in this struggle for all this long, does not know the person that I am to him some guy. That is terrible. And these are the people with this type of mindset that will think that they can even convince the next person to work with them. For me, Eugene, if you do not know, you came to Brussels in 2017. Let me tell you, I am one of the architects of you coming to Brussels. And that was not the beginning of my activity to see that I bring all Southern Cameroonians together. I started back home to struggling to bring everybody together. When I went back home in 2013 to bury my mother, I still struggled to bring everybody together. Pan Dangam is there. Others are there. Late Nwanchan is there. They can testify. Dr. Fo is there. He can testify that I called all of them to plead with them that we should all come together to work as one person. So if you do not know this advocate of unity and you are describing him as that guy,
Can I
I
say something to
tell
Sama
you,
Thomas? Can I say something to Sama Thomas?
so before you say
Uh,
something to Sama Thomas,
Sama Thomas,
let me finish.
1 minute, come Sama Thomas.
Let Samuel Thomas finish, JK. Let him finish. Samuel, go on, please.
Okay.
So, so far as I'm concerned, Brussels, like I asked, are you guys coming to brainstorm in Brussels and go back to the conference in the United States? But that is what is pulling. We should be getting all our efforts toward that. We've been suffering from this syndrome of leadership. Everybody wants to lead, which is what I hate. There must be a leader at a given moment, and there must be followers at a given moment. All of us cannot lead. Like you guys came to Brussels and said, oh, he's a leader. It's terrible. We must be leaders at the same moment. Some people must lead, some people follow. And let me tell you guys something. If you want to lead tomorrow, help push somebody up today. When you push somebody up today, tomorrow when that person comes, he will remember you. That person who pushed him. So let me, as I'm going down, let me push you up as well. But if, what we can do, how we can pull down people, we will not rise up. So we should learn the attitude of pushing people up to be taken up when our own turn comes. All of
right,
us can be leaders.
let JK come
That's
in there.
that's a strategy of an anarchist.
You are very correct, Sama, and that is the point that I keep making, that everybody cannot suddenly become the leader. Everybody. JK,
It's like we're already.
JK, go
It's
on.
like we're already offline.
You are not offline. Go on.
Okay. I wanted to say this to Comrade Sama and to those who have gone around saying rumors that we ejected them. We are positive-minded people, and we don't want activists who are politicians. That's simple. Like Comrade Don Pasho said, we had activists who are politicians. Those who were coming there to preach good politics. If you came in that format, to take you out. And after Brussels conference, those who were not participating in the forum, who were dormant, were all ejected. That's how it works, because we are building a new spirit. If you are an activist there, which we got information, you were taking information to send it to other groups, and where you preach your partism, we cut you off. We wanted those activists who were fully committed to.
If you
That's
are
why.
trying to commit other activists and some activists are sending out information to them from you, what is wrong about that?
It's not about sending information. It's like, don't bring the negativity, because we know what partisan activism has done. Yeah, most of us have supported partisan activism. Before we all united, we know the chaos of which different leaders in the diaspora has cost us activists, and the price of which the youth down there are paid. So we don't want that anymore. We want the focus few, because like Eugene said, even Jesus cannot save everyone from going to hell. Some will go to hell. So we need those faithful activists. We're just struggling to take the revolution back to like where we were in 2016. 2016, when we marched, we had other activists. They were just in the consortium activist forum, just the five of us. But all the other activists were out there. When we decided something, they pushed it. We did not bring all activists. No, it's when we started going further that we started thinking of bringing Gili and bringing Kuku Dablings. So we must not bring everybody. We bring those who see the vision of unity, which is the threat of La Republic to La Republic. That's what we need. If we see you a threat to La Republic, if we see our unity is a threat to La Republic, we find those who want it. 1 minute, I'm joking.
Let me get to Don Pasio. Don Pasio, one of the things that you guys agreed at your conference was asking Ambazonians to rally around the referendum. How did you guys arrive at that?
Yeah, we looked at the various liberation struggles that have happened in the around the world. We saw that no liberation struggle has ever gotten their independence fully without a referendum. We also looked into what our people want, because we know today, as I am speaking, at this hour, at this minute, at this second, if La République du Cameroon, if the international community puts a referendum that the people should decide if they want to stay with La République, whether in any form of federation, whether in any unitary state, whether in whatever, our people, 99.99% are going to vote for that independence. Even the likes of Atanganji Pauls and the Philemon Youngs and the Musonges, they will vote for that independence. Like our brother Joa told them during the meet, what they termed the what they termed that their thing that the organizer Musonge is heading, whether it is whatever thing they call it, I don't even want to go into it because I don't know the name of that thing. In Bamenda, Joa told them
Commission of Bilingualism.
that
Commission of Bilingualism.
Commission of Bilingualism. Joa openly told them there that you people sitting up there, you have the spirit in you. When the spirit is in you, even your fellow brothers from the Francophone region, they know that you are joking with them. So we looked at these issues and we know that our people are with us. The international community can only broker peace between La République du Cameroon and the people of Southern Cameroon and Bazonia with a referendum. No matter how long we fight, when we go to the negotiating table, we go to the negotiations table, Comrade Christopher Arno, even me and you, we are there. We cannot decide the fate of close to 12 million Ambazonians. We always say we are 8 million. We are not 8 million. We are more than 12 million. So we, a few of us, calling ourselves leaders or whatsoever we term ourselves to be, we cannot decide the fate of 12 plus people. The 12 plus people are going to decide their fate so that tomorrow, Comrade Christopher Anu, they will not say you went and decided their fate and they failed. Tomorrow they will not say, Don Pasho, you went and decided their fate and they failed. They themselves should decide their fate so that tomorrow nobody will be held responsible or accountable for whatever thing that comes out from that referendum. And we know that our people want a referendum. I spoke with someone whose elder sister is a reverend sister in Boya. The person quoted to me that he spoke to his own sister, who is a reverend sister. And the reverend sister said, nothing, not there, now only independence we want. Even they do now wait, people all we for here will talk now independent. Even me, if I not be wearing white clothes, I for there for bush. I for there for bush because
All
this
right.
thing don't pass we. So we know that our people are going to fight for vote for us for independence. Why don't we advocate for it right now?
All right, thank you. That was one good thing that came out from your conference in Belgium, and I hope that you guys will do the work of education and advocacy to educate Ambazonians on the importance of such a thing as a referendum. We all stand behind it, and we are hoping that we all push La République du Cameroon to accepting it. They have failed to go for negotiations or mediations. They cannot fail to go in for this referendum, and I hope that we will partner at activists and groups to see that the referendum takes root in Ambazonia. Gentlemen, I will now open the phone lines and let Ambazonians come in and make their contributions. Unfortunately, I don't know what is going on with Facebook. I cannot see the number of views as usual displayed on the screen. So I don't know what is going on. I don't know whether people are still watching on Facebook or not. I can see the live show, but I don't see the numbers. If you are seeing the numbers on your screen at your end, drop us a note. Let us know that you can watch us. But over here, I don't see any numbers displayed on the screen. I will now open the phone lines and let our callers come in, put in their contribution to this discussion. You have the phone number right there on the screen. And remember that before you call, please, before you call, turn down the volume of your set. Before you call, turn down the volume of your set before you call so that there is no echo. I see the first caller coming in. I need to get the microphone set for that. All right. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you're calling from, please?
I'm calling from Guerrero. I wish to applaud you and the activists for coming out with this exciting show. I'm so happy with the debate among you as we are talking, but I wish to put two questions to the activists, and the second question will act as if it's my advice. The first question is that we on the ground, we've been listening to all of you leaders talk about this referendum issue. And like Dr. Ayabacho and Sako, they are against it. Like I follow a program on Ayaba's TV and all these people, they know to a referendum. My question to the activists is that what are going to do as their mission is to bring unity, to bring focus, unity of purpose and focus on the revolution. All of them in that panel, what are they going to do to convince these leaders who are like standing on the way of the people, the way of the majority, and demonizing this referendum? Because when you hear these people speak, they are demonizing the referendum. What are the activists going to do to speak sense, to let these people see reason in this issue of the referendum? Question number two, when they spoke about their conference, they said that a conference must be must be convened by all leaders. But I think that they should look at the purpose of a conference, like this conference coming up that your government is organizing to talk about the referendum. The purpose of the conference should push the activists to see that it's a conference that they should push all the leaders to come. Because what is the agenda of the conference? Does it foster the struggle? Does it help the people on the ground? Even if all the leaders are not coming, as they have rightly said that even among themselves, the activists, God cannot save all of us. They could not bring everybody in their own conference. So they, now that they are seeing the purpose of your conference coming up on from the 23rd, whether to the 25th or whensoever, they should, what are they going to do to see that the leaders who are opposed to it should come to the conference?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Eugene, I'll let you take the question. You've been listening and smiling. Eugene, take that all over again, please. You were muted.
Yeah, I said the first question that he asked about what are the activists going to do to get all the leaders behind one initiative like the referendum. I think yes, we are starting by again. We are facilitating. We are facilitators. We try to be the middleman. We try to be the endorsement platform. We are going to endorse only people who are working things that are for Ambazonia, and that includes everyone. Those who are calling for unity.
Stay on the line.
So that's as simple as we are going to do it. And we have started by talking with Mr. Chris now here. And we think that from today we can start to build on this platform with Mr. Chris, that we try to work together as one people. So we can try to have, we can try to stop this unilateral decision making by individual groups and try to sit down and discuss about policies and positions that we can take in this struggle together for the good of Ambazonia. So, and the question number two was
Ufuka, let me come in for the question number two, please.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Question number two. Kola, you talked about the conference in the conference that Comrade Christopher and his group they are calling. I want to say that that conference is not termed an all Ambazonian conference. Comrade Christopher Anu and his group, they are not calling an all Ambazonian conference. They are calling a conference for a referendum. That means they are calling a conference to educate Ambazonians on the need for a referendum. Why and how do we think a referendum can be organized in Ambazonia? It is not termed an all Ambazonian conference, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't be misinforming the public, please. Don't be misinforming the public. There are these conferences were two as regard to
I have asked a question back to Comrade Chris, if I am not mistaken. Don't say I am misinforming the public, Comrade Sama. Can Comrade Chris clarify me, please?
It seems Comrade Chris is muted.
Sorry, Don Pasio. Comrade Sama was saying that prior to we organizing the referendum conference, we were putting together an all Ambazonia Unity Collaboration Conference, which we then changed to a referendum conference. Whatever the case, it is all Ambazonia, whether it is for referendum, it is for collaboration, it is for unity, it is all Ambazonia. We are not trying to exclude anything, and the fact that the interim government is doing that does not make the interim government want to run and own it. It is about Ambazonia. And I think that any conference that serves Ambazonia should be encouraged. I don't care who is at the head of it. If it serves the purpose, if it serves Ambazonia, it should be encouraged. All right,
okay,
let's get back to the phone. Let's get back to the phone. I think a lot of people are waiting to call. Hello. Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Go on. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Okay. And what is your contribution, sir?
I have some questions to ask. To have just 5 quick questions to ask.
Not. You can't ask 5 questions. There's no time. Ask 1 question and allow others to ask theirs. Go on.
Now let me just ask the first question.
All right.
Who should be organizing the referendum? And will the Amazonians in prison and refugees vote?
That is a very
Will
good
this
that's a very good question, sir. Thank you. The referendum, the kind of referendum that we are recommending is that which is organized by the United Nations and also monitored by the United Nations. Anybody in jail cannot vote. Ambazonian refugees can definitely vote depending on the conditions put in place by the United Nations. But I don't want to categorically say that those in jail cannot vote. Those in jail who are Ambazonian, again, it depends on the modalities that the United Nations put out there. So I don't want to say a categorical no. But all I can tell you is that this kind of vote, people from French Cameroon cannot participate.
Come, Chris, I'd
Does
like
that
to
make
say
and
sense?
then what of the ID card? The ID card. What type of ID card will be used?
We will allow the United Nations to decide that.
Come, Chris, let me come in.
Does that make
Because if
sense?
we're using the same ID card, then it will be the same like Elecam.
Come,
No,
Chris,
Well,
it
let me,
doesn't
it doesn't come there.
Come,
All right. Thank you for
come,
the call.
Chris,
Let's
let me
get to
come
the
in.
next caller.
Come, Chris, I wanted to explain something to that guy.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I am calling from Nizam.
Okay, and what is your contribution?
Yes, I want to thank you guys for the program, and please help me to tell our brothers in the studio that they were once scattered and now they are back. And when they were scattered, the struggle was going ahead. So when they come back, please, they should do the line. They should do the line. And one thing I need to say is that if you have declared a lockdown on the 18th and other groups are talking about the 19th and the 20th, you declare the lockdown before. They should not make people to go astray, and the confusion in diaspora will make so many souls who go down here. Some people will respect and some people will find themselves into a deep mess. So please, when you are sending out lockdown messages, it should be orderly, because people will find straight play taking some people because of ignorance.
All right.
Because of ignorance.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for the call, sir. Thank you for the call. Let's get to the other callers. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling you from Sweden.
Okay, I think I know this voice. Go on, sir.
I just wanted to make a remark that the activists usually make suggestions to ensure that things go well for the struggle. That's why they talk about consulting the different leaders to be able to have a kind of cohesion in the way things are done.
Correct.
And it will be good that in the future, the different movements talk to each other so that when an issue like lockdown is brought up, we have a kind of unified date. It will be good to listen to others. I've watched the program from the beginning till now, and I think it was a wrong impression to say the activists were trying to take leadership positions. It's a wrong impression. The resolutions were 4 in number, getting people to speak for them, encouraging those who are fighting on the ground, support for referendum, and to make sure that the leadership collaborate. Those are the 4 issues. At no point in time did the resolution say the activists were to take the position of leaders. I think we
No,
should
you,
encourage activists.
I won't let you go on. You are misinforming. I have the resolutions right here in front of me. They are not four. They are actually about, I mean, close to, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are actually about 10 of them, and but that is not even the point. The point is that they actually say the things that I stated. You are getting it wrong. I read and I quoted from them, sir. Hello.
Mr. Chris, you read the resolutions. You're talking about two issues here. The first is a document submitted to the European Union demanding a UN organized referendum. That is a different document. There was a follow-up resolution that were made up of 4 points, which they said were the key issues which they should work towards.
No, again, that is what I am reading here.
And Chris,
hold on. Again, please, when you call, hold on. I'm not shutting you down. When you call, make sure you are armed with the right information. What I read to you is coming from the document titled Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia Activist Conference, Belgium. Follow-up resolutions.
Exactly. At no
but they are not 4 of them. They are not what we are talking about.
The activists behave as if they were taking up the position of leadership. When you ask...
No, you get it wrong. You are giving the wrong interpretation. I said the idea of trying to now take decisions, whereas you have groups in this struggle that it should be their role to coordinate cohesion, advocacy. Call it good when they see it. Call it wrong when they see it. But not making decisions like telling the other groups, the leaders, what 11 February should be, what 20th May should be. They can advocate it. They cannot declare it. How do they enforce it? That is causing chaos. That's what I'm trying to say.
Secretary Chris, I get you very well, and the document is in front of you and was made public.
Yes.
You said they took decisions, and who are they to take decisions? It's an impression which you gave, which
no.
Said, Chris, will you allow me to talk?
Listen, because you are slanting it to the angle that wasn't intended. I said they, for example, they declared certain actions for 11th of February and 20th May. Read it in that resolution. And hold on, let me read it for you, please. Let me read it for you. The Southern Cameroon's Amazonia activists, hold on, let me see, building coalition. The activists resolve to encourage all existing structures to build a more collaborative platform. Nothing wrong with that. Leaving no Southern Cameroonian or Ambazonian behind in the march towards Boya. Correct. Activists intend to hold discussions with the other activists. Close. I mentioned about that. Let me see. I think it's the next page. The next page said the activists resolve that they shall support. That is not the one. Hold on, please.
Secretary Chris, I've read the document, and there is nowhere activists said what 20th May or 11th February should be.
No, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. It is there. It is there. I get it to you. I get it. I will read it to you exactly word for word.
Okay, you get it and read it to me. And I just wanted to say that it was a suggestion that for an issue like lockdown, we have a kind of coordination when lockdowns are called. One person should not say
excuse me, caller. Excuse me as well.
That is why they still suggested that since most of the movements they spoke to were for a 2-day lockdown, it would have been good for you to understand with them and the other movements and make the lockdown shorter, because the people on the ground have been paying a heavy price for prolonged lockdown dates. It is only a suggestion. Nowhere did they impose or force people or force you to change your position. And you have insisted.
I get your point. You do not understand the logistics of we saying putting lockdown on a certain day. You come up with that suggestion when lockdown has not been announced. It was announced 1 week before. There were people here who were proactive. You don't wait for a few days to the event and you call people and say, move it, change it. That's what I'm talking about. If they had come early as proactive citizens, activists, and say, okay, 20th May is coming, what do we do? That makes sense that we all deliberate and come up with one day. But you don't sit there and wait until a date is announced. You come 1 week all after and say, we all decided. Who decided? Who did you consult? So please, it is good for next time. It is not good for this time. That's the point I'm making.
Can I intervene a little bit,
That's
please?
a good point you're making, Secretary Chris. It's a good point you're making, which in other normal circumstances, we're going to see whether there will be a change of attitude, whether there will be some kind of cohesion.
Correct. That's the point. That's the point. If they had applied wisdom, if they had applied some wisdom,
they never imposed anything on anybody.
If they had if they had applied some wisdom,
lockdown first. It is about cohesion. I think so.
I get your point. It is about cohesion, but hold on. Don't just talk as if you are trying to drive an agenda. When you have, when you want to build cohesion, you don't sit down and wait until people plan something, go out there and announce it, and you come back and say that you activists decided that, oh, we'll do it for 1 day or for 2 days. If the announcement was already made before you arrived at your decision, you will say the right thing to do would be, okay, they have already announced this. Let's wait for the next occasion and work with them and work on the common date. Isn't it what it's supposed to be?
We hope that is going to be for the future.
All right, thank you
for your time, and
I
really wish you have a good discussion with the activists, and let us continue to see how we can work together as a people and take the struggle forward.
Thank you. All right. Pasha, you are trying to say something there.
Yes. You are still insisting that activists made a decision. I clarify this, that activists never make any decisions. Activists were consulting, and that is why they came to you. They consulted you. Yes, we consulted you maybe late. And now, if we are to take it as if it is a problem, we are going to throw back the question to you. Who did you consult? Which other groups did you consult before taking that decision? You and your group unilaterally decided to call for a lockdown. We want things now to work in cohesion.
So the same question you are asking goes back to you. When did you guys consult other groups, and why didn't you consult Comrade Chris the same period that you consulted and came out with a decision of 2 days? Why was Comrade Chris left out?
Okay, let me answer your question, Comrade Sama. Do you know the dates that we consulted the other groups? Do you know when we consulted the other groups? We were in consultation with the other groups just the same day. Just the same day.
Don't pass you. Hold on there. Whether you consulted other groups or not, or when or how you consulted them, at this point doesn't matter. All I am saying here is you guys supposed to be sensitive, smart, knowing that lockdown was already announced 1 week ago. You would have said, okay, we are trying to build cohesion. They already announced it. Let's wait for the next occasion. We work together and announce a lockdown. Isn't it?
You are correct. with
All
what
right,
you are
thank
saying
you about that. Let's
currently.
get to the phone. Let's get to the phones, please. Let's get to the phones. Let's give the callers a chance. Hello.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cristiano. It is a wonderful show.
Thank you.
I was following up also on Facebook. Unfortunately, maybe my points got me blocked on Facebook.
Thank you for letting me know.
Show.
Thank you for letting me know, because I am seeing that we are on Facebook, but there is no single person on Facebook. So are you still watching on? Are you still able to watch?
No, I'm unable to watch. I have been blocked with Comrade Ebon Kingsley.
So
but it's not a general issue. It's particularly to me. I think so.
No, I don't think so. I think it's probably also the
Even
problem
me,
here, because
even me, I can't watch
there
on
were
Facebook.
over 300 people watching, and suddenly nobody.
Generally, Jeshaka too is writing that they are unable to see it on Facebook. He's sending a link. Their opponent is not opening anymore too. So
I guess we are under attack here. But go on, sir. Ground Zero is watching.
I cannot get it.
Okay, if Ground Zero is watching, then good. But Facebook, they are taking it off. So I just wanted to start my remark by saying that everything Ambazonian is ours, which means that the conference that the activists had in Belgium was supposed to be our thing. And that is why every group, every frontline movement was invited. I happen to be the coordinator, and you were also served. The IG was served, and I believe that a bigger group like yours should have also encouraged the activists. Either if you were not to come in person, you should have also sent word to them, encourage them, so that when they also feel, you show them how to go. That's how parents do. Because you are now the policymakers, as you said. We are advocates, as you said. Then how do you promote the advocates to have a greater voice? Because if we have a stronger voice, it works against La Republic to Cameroon. But if you rather hold down the voices of the activists, you bring down the struggle. So let us, Ambazonia is our own collective inheritance to protect. I'm quoting Braddock here. So strengthen others rather than bring them down. That is one thing I want to say. And secondly, there were other points we put in that memorandum. For example, defense, strengthening defense, supporting groups that work in defense. We particularly said, okay, we are activists. We are not going to get into defense, but we are going to support projects. For example, if Mr. Chris Ando has a very good project that is aimed at bringing back Ground Zero to its feet and making them buoyant, we are going to support such a project and push it forward. But imagine that you make us redundant. We wouldn't be able to. So we are trying to do everything that will make Ambazonia stronger again. Because from the division we have had, you bear with me that many of the groups, especially the IGs, have lost fighters on the ground. They are no longer loyal. And so we may even talk about activists not having fighters. Who do they consult? Many of the frontline movements do not also have. So we must work together to build back these guys. Our collective goal.
I totally agree with you. We must work together. However, working together, we must shun partisanship, which has been the characteristic feature of every single activist in this struggle. If activists shun partisanship and do things as patriotic Ambazonians, we are bound to work with them. But if they come on pushing an agenda, listen, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. So let us do the right thing and work together. We will save Ambazonia.
That's okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. But I just think that as we are also growing, if activists have shown surrogacy, they have shown all these partisanship, it means that they are growing. And if any,
we're waiting to see. We're waiting to see whether they do. It was a good thing they met in Belgium. Let's see if they are able to shun partisanship and just serve Ambazonia, serve the flag, as I hear some people say. But thank you. Let me get to other callers, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Greeting, Comrade Chris.
Greetings, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, from Meme County,
All right.
Comrade precisely.
Go on, sir. 1 minute.
Okay, I just get a question for the activists.
Okay.
From their conference and from their come together, we don't get IG for Siseko, IG for Sako, IG for Marianta, and now the present IG. For this IG, I don't name them all. Now one person, like the chairperson, neither they endorse, neither they crown all these leaders. Now when they don't come together, they don't shit on for these three leaders. Now Siseko de prison, for Sako, Marianta, and Mr. Chris. They don't shit on Luca for these three people who will be the person where in one unity. Because I believe say again for be one of their problem for city three leaders who know one unity, including even Akwanga and to Ayaba. Now that place for call all these people together, then they put the agenda for see who now disagree for unity. Because if the one wait for say me the leader call this leader, they go hardly agree. This man if call this man will ever accept. But I want to make a place for them for all for the activists. So call all these three leaders, all the four or five leaders, put them in their midst, give them their agenda, then they will see who now they against the unity process. Because for me, I foresee say any man is fighting for his own interest, and now the activists they surely, I believe that they surely lost for somewhere. Because if one IG, one restoration council put up three leaders, and any man do one come out, make it go for my own group. And for the present restoration council will get that now. Now I don't put all those leaders them. It began to be a place for this unity activists we don't come now for see say there is a problem, and this problem it be caused by these people where when they call election, they need the one to go in for election. They rather go out to form their own small group to knock the fighters ahead. It began to be a place now for them. For see say the restoration council they don't always put these leaders in. It began to be a place for them to consult the restoration council, convoke all the terrorist leaders the way they don't they go against the constitution, to see for real if now the restoration council be wrong or now the leaders they be wrong. I believe say it will help me to at least take a step forward. Because for now I see for their conference I see Marianta so happily, but it will deny for go in for election. If a business will be transparent enough, it will go in for the election. Because now through this restoration council make Marianta come out to be known like a leader. And now
all right. Why not hold on there? Let them make attempt to respond. Let me get to Eugene. Eugene, you want to attempt a respond there? I think the caller is essentially asking, what is the position of you, the activists, when you come to leaders refusing to go? You activists endorse all of them, or you just, or you just, or you want them to know that they should not be messing up with the struggle.
Yes, Comrade Chris, I think that is a very good question, and that falls in line with what we have been trying to say here today from the beginning of this show, that the activists, we intend to be a platform that can mediate between all Ambazonians, all the different groups. And I don't want to use that language, that term leaders, because this show, the way we have been focused about the term to categorize somebody as a leader, is that's the test of power and title. So we are hoping that Ambazonian activists, we are going to be the platform, we are going to be the facilitator to facilitate connection, communication, unity, and collaboration between every Ambazonian. So that is our principal objective. And that is why we also as activists need to come all of us together under the same umbrella so we can be able to make sure that we can galvanize our people both on ground
What do you
zero
mean by
and
the same
diaspora,
umbrella?
and also put their leaders together.
What do you mean by coming under the same umbrella?
I mean, the activists are coming under the same. I don't mean the groups. The
Okay.
activists. I'm saying that we, the
So
activists, need to all come
when
together
you say
ourselves.
there are no leaders, what do you actually mean? You mean AGOFC doesn't have a leader? The
No,
interim government doesn't have
I,
a leader. APLM
a
doesn't have
leader,
a
a
leader. Is
leader.
this what you mean?
Being a leader is not a title. It's the person who is doing something, a certain responsibility. So there are people who are going to take responsibility in this struggle and who are taking responsibility at different levels. So a leader is not a title that you take and sit in your house. A leader is someone who is on the front line himself, and that's the person we see as a leader. So if anybody wants to call themselves a leader, they must be saying that with some action that they are doing, not by a title. They sit in their home and they call themselves a leader. That's the
All
thing.
right. Hold on there. Let's get back to the
Let me
phones. Hello.
come in to add something to it.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Angola. Alaji Musa from Angola.
Oh, the one and only Elijah. How are you, sir? Go on with your
I'm
contribution.
doing fine.
All right. Go on with
Yes,
your question.
Yes, my question is this. These empty activists have come out to say that there is no a leader in this struggle. They want to tell us that the struggle is off because something with no leader, that thing doesn't exist. So these activists have said that there is no leader in this struggle. Who is there? What are they going to do if there is a negotiation settlement? Who is going to lead the struggle for the moment? That is my question to this empty activist.
All right. That is your opinion that they are empty activists.
Alhaji
Thank
Musa,
you for the call. But I
sorry.
have asked that question before, and Eugene, if you want to attempt the answer again, that will be okay. You don't want leaders. Who is
No,
going to
we have
negotiate for you,
leaders.
according to, as Alaji asked?
Why are we so obsessed about the seat that the leader is sitting on more than the responsibility of the leader? That's the question.
No,
Nobody
but the
here is
question
talking
is,
about.
do you believe in, forget about responsibility of the leader. If you have a leader, there is always responsibility. Do you believe in leadership? I mean,
Of
you, the
course, there is
activist.
always leadership. There's always leadership, Chris. There
Okay,
must be
so
order.
I think you
Things
answered the
must be
question. So
organized.
in other words, there is leadership in this. The idea that activists don't want leaders, I hope it's not there. We don't want to hear that,
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not there. Of course, it's not.
All
It's
right,
not.
let's
But
get to
we
the
know that we.
phones. Hello.
Uh,
Hello. Okay, bad connection there. Let's get to the next caller. Hello. Bad connection again. Next caller. Then we lost that caller there. Okay, the phone line is open now, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and call. Go ahead and call. I see so many people trying to call. Go ahead and call if you have a good network. All right. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Go on, please. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kumba.
Okay, and what is your contribution, sir?
Hello?
Can you turn down the volume of your television, please?
Hello, sir. Go on, please.
Before you call, you have to shut down the volume of your TV, please. Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, I'm getting you.
Yes, where are you calling from?
Please, yeah, I'm calling from Grand Zero.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
I'm getting you. Can you turn down the volume of your TV for a while, please?
Okay. I do so.
Go on.
Hello.
Go on.
Okay. Please. What I'm begging you people is that you people should try to unite. because when you say that activity or Cristiano or what we call that other man that you people always sing like song, it's not good. What we want you people is that when we people are talking about correction, you people should make us that you people must go to ABC, because ABC first of all is the Amazonia TV station that you people are supposed to, each and everyone have the right to be to that station. So from then, when you people are making something, you are born think that as you people are the only one. We on the Ghana, we are loving you people. What you people are doing overside there, they are so other active in the even though they are in the republic, like lawyers that they are doing debate even in that other station like my Misa Prime, Equinox, that they are defending us, and we are here as that they are doing. And when they are making debate, they are fighting, and we here in the ground, they are here. They are also leaders. Do you not think that they can leave them back? They can also be as a president like you. Like how you people are fighting push. I want to tell you people that when we reach here on the down, we don't know who will be the president. Remember in the time of David, it will come about that maybe the president will be a soldier.
Okay, we're getting
that if I fight and I want it, I will be big president. You people should leave that thing in leadership. Be together with ABC and all the rest. There is no one that is great more than whatsoever. You people, what you people are saying, leader. I am the one. All the things.
Okay. Listen. Hold your breath. Catch your breath. Listen. When people go on TV station, they are invited. The folks you see on the screen here, they were invited. If ABC will not invite them, you will not see them there. Correct?
What I mean is that
you have enough time, so we have to take other callers. Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Misa.
Okay, go ahead. What's your contribution?
I just want to call on you to be serious on this issue of collaboration. Are you getting me?
100%. Go on.
Okay. When you come and you are talking and I hear you arguing, and some of you are just talking and mixing words, and I don't think whether you mean what you are saying, because if the activists they mean what they are saying, like I heard one of them when defining their option, their work, saying that their work is to educate, to advocate, and to take action. And then I see again they are like contradicting themselves. You are saying that there is an all Anglophone conference.
No, we didn't mention Anglophone. All Ambazonia. Go on.
That they cannot look into it and see whether it has the conference is for the good of Ambazonia and collaborate so that it works well. Why should they be saying that it is a conference that is brought up by some people, like they are saying that it is not all? They should join with you and make everybody to come on board so that the conference should hold the way they want. They should not just say that they will not advocate, they are not into it. So
all right.
That's just what I want to contribute.
Thank you. Hello. All right. I will get the last caller here. I will get the last caller here. Please.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
Switzerland.
Okay, and go ahead, please, with your contribution.
Okay, so what I want to say is that we appreciated what the activists are doing, but I think their guiding principle should be that they should advocate, yes, and advocate for collaboration. You know, work with like-minded leaders, and they have to be honest to themselves. You know, what I mean by honest to themselves, I mean that they should understand that there are leaders in this struggle who are not fighting for Amazonia. They are fighting for their stomachs or whatever call them. And these people should be sidelined. They know that. They know this. Look, okay. For instance, someone just said that we have 4 leaders, or about how many groups you call them, whatever you want to call them. But can someone really tell me that, for instance, all the groups are really working for the interest of Amazonia? I don't think so. So now it's for them to look at those who are working for the interest for Amazonia and work with them. Look for those groups that are working for the interest of Amazonia, work with them. Those who are not working for the interest of Amazonia should be called out and sidelined. As simple as that. We should be honest. We know them. I don't want to call names. We know people are working against our interest. We know them. So they have to have that courage to call them out. Anytime okay, you see, like what's happened, okay, for instance, there is a tape that Capo Daniel, we all know him, came out with a voice message throwing Ayabacho under the bus, right? So he came out with some accusations, and we have to take that seriously. So now the question is Ayabacho fighting for Amazonia? That's the question. So there's Capo has been working with Ayabacho, has thrown him under the bus. So you see, that's just an example. So, but up to now, Ayabacho has not come up with, as usual, with any, either with and say anything either
Chris, I
to
would like to
affirm
respond to
or
that
deny
caller.
what Capo is saying. Anyway, that's just an example. Work with like-minded leaders, and let's push this thing to a logical end. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think that is the point that I was trying to make when I say when the activists stop being partisan and just do what is right. That should be the right thing to do. Thank you, comrade, for the call, and we will no longer take any caller. We're gonna be rounding
Comrade
this
Chris,
up,
can I
but
respond to that caller?
I like to give the activists a chance to make at least the last point here. Let me start with Don Pasho, whom I see trying to say something over there. Don Pasho, please.
Yeah, Comrade Chris, I just wanted to react to the caller. There is no mechanism for us as Ambazonians to label or call a leader that he is not fighting for us. Comrade Chris, many a times, Ambazonians have termed you a La Republique agent. Should we as activists go out there to advocate that Christopher Anu is La Republique agent? Many have advocated that Sakol Ekome is La Republique agent. They have given all their proofs, all their evidence. What are the mechanisms for us to measure that these are La Republique agents? Cho Ayaba, now Capo Daniel is exposing things that we never knew. Should we go out there to also categorize on what Capo Daniel is saying? What are the mechanisms for us to justify that these people, all of them, are La Republique agents? That means you want to
hold on. I understand the point you are making, though, but certain things are very clear. They are like day and night. The last but one caller said, for example, that in the interim government, for example, you had one person who did the ordination, or what is the word for that? The swearing
inauguration.
Yeah, what is it?
Inauguration or swearing in, as you say.
Yeah, the swearing in, one person, one institution did the swearing in for all the leaders from Sisiko to Chris Anu, and that institution is the Restoration Council, and that one individual was Elvis Comita. I think that caller was saying, what do you,
Make
as
of
an
that.
activist, say? Do you now say, well, Sisiko is the leader of the interim government, Sako is the leader of the interim government, Marianta is the leader of the interim government?
Okay,
How will you, the activists, treat
let
that situation?
let me come in here to say it categorically clear to Ambazonians that activists will not intervene or politicize in any group's political issues. Activists will come in when that political agenda touches the national interest. But when we look at what is transpiring within the various interim governments that you people are fighting for, we as activists, we cannot come in to say that we want to say Marianta is not the right person. We cannot come in to say
Let me
Christopher
put
Anu
a
is not the
question. No,
right
you are
person.
dodging it. Let me put it another way. You are dodging it. If tomorrow Chris Anu says, you know what, I'm not leaving this interim government, I form my own interim government, what would you, the activists, say?
We have stated it again. I repeat, Christopher Anu. The issues, internal issues of any group belongs to that group's internal issues. That is why no matter what Capo Daniel and Cho Ayaba they are going through, you haven't heard any of us
I'm not asking you about
activists.
Capo Daniel and Cho Ayaba. We know very little. We have very little insight into their issues,
That
but
is
I'm talking
that
about
is that
issues
is
that you know.
That is the internal issue of a group, same as the internal issue of your own group. It is an internal issue. We cannot mingle into the internal issues of your group. For example, okay, now let me come back to you, Comrade Christopher Anu. You were one of those who went out. Let me not say one, you were the one who went out and stated that Sisiku Ayutthaya is compromised. But during the Canada talks, you were the one hitting the table in this same TV station that he must be on the table. He must. So how can a compromised person be on the table? Is he still a leader?
Are you asking a question?
The question is straight.
Yeah. I actually withdrew that statement. Remember, I said that that information came to us from John Fruitso. You recall that? You didn't mention that. I said that information that he was compromised came from John Fruitso. But whatever the case, compromise or not compromise, a leader in jail should not be leading free people. He has an opinion. He
I'm
has
not
an
talking about
opinion.
leading.
He has
I'm quoting
advice,
you
but you
saying that he
cannot lead
must be
free
on the
people from
negotiable table.
behind bars where you got no freedom of your own.
He was he is
Let me go to Eugene, please.
All right.
Just
Yeah,
round up.
Comrade
We are
Chris.
trying to round up now. We can no longer take any
Yes,
calls, please. So you can
I will.
stop calling.
I will try to round up. I will round up my point with the issue of the referendum. That there was a caller who called and he was asking questions about the use of ID cards.
Yeah.
I want us to understand that we should be very, very specific when we are giving information to our people. We know that there's an option of a referendum, but before that option comes, certain things need to happen first. We need to ask Ambazonians, we need to ask ourselves these questions that do we think that right now the international community can come and organize a referendum in Ambazonia? And if they come and organize a referendum, for example, now, and Ambazonia vote 100% to become an independent country, what happens? Because first of all, there must be a structure to govern before a referendum even take place. So if there's a referendum, there must be a UN body, there must be a body that's going to govern for a certain length of time before we can be able to organize a political election to get the real government in place. That's how the UN does in every other country. And usually sometimes the UN owned government governs for some certain time or
Yeah,
together
I
with
thought
some local
we're all
people, the
saying the same
government
thing, right?
together.
You are not.
Yeah,
We don't want to sit here and promise people ID cards. We are saying the UN will determine the modalities for the electorate. So when that moment comes, we will know what ID cards the UN would want to use. But for now, we don't want to say they are using to Cameroon ID cards or using some other ID cards. Let the right moment come. The UN will let us know exactly what documentation to use and what kind of registration to be carried out.
exactly. And this issue of leadership, Mr. Chris, why are we so focused about the title, not the responsibility? That's the thing we need to be
Let me
looking at.
answer your question. You know, I am the only one here who has said, don't call me president. We don't have a country yet. You guys, you activists have now bought that and you added in your resolutions, everybody should be called comrade, isn't it? Listen, it is
No,
not about leadership. I am here for for 3 years. When 3 years are over, I will hand it to somebody else and go. But the fact is that at any point in time in the process of this struggle, there have to be a leader. Whether some people like it or not, it is just what it should be.
we have many leaders at
Correct.
the moment.
Correct.
Yeah, we do.
Because we
We
have
do.
many groups, isn't it?
We
Chris
have
Adu
many
is not the
fractions.
only leader.
Yes. So how do we work
Kwanga is not the
together
only
now?
leader.
Yeah.
But the idea that I am against is when you activists try to pass the impression that there ought not to be one leader.
No, we did not pass that impression. You are the one who tried to pass that impression today. We didn't do that, Chris.
No,
We didn't.
your message from your resolution stated that you are now you actually gave 11 February, 20th May, certain names, and then you also called this interim government
Comrade
and
Christopher,
tried to dictate
are we
when
making
a
our last
lockdown
statement
should
when
take
we are
place.
still
We are
discussing?
saying that it is not the place of the activists to dictate to these leaders, which you agree are out there on what should be done. You can make proposals. That is perfectly in order. But you can't call telling them do this or do that because they know how to raise the money. You don't raise the money. They sponsor the fighters on the ground. You don't sponsor them. You only have your mouth and your pen and a keyboard on the social media. That's
No,
the
no,
point
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
saying.
Chris. Chris, don't say that. Don't activists will contribute money to this struggle. We send money to the fighters. We do all these things that the leaders do. We have the same contact to the
I
fighters
am
as the
not
leaders
denying
do.
that you do not do that. You actually do that, but to what extent? What I am
No,
trying
no, no,
to
no,
get
no,
you
no,
to
no.
understand
To
is that
every
these groups that you are trying to kind of ostracize, they are carrying the water in this struggle. The groups are here making drafts every week, raising thousands of dollars. How many times have activists come together to raise thousands of dollars to support Ground Zero? This is what I'm
all the money
saying.
you have
There
collected,
should be
all the
some
money,
consistency.
yes, all
Consistency with you
all
guys.
the all the money you people collected before was with the use of activists. If not of Prince J. and many others, Don Pacho and the rest who worked with you guys before to raise
We
millions,
don't
you will not be
deny
able to
that.
raise any money.
We
If
do
you
not
people raise
deny
all the
that. What
money,
I'm
if you
trying
people
to
raise
get
all
you
you raise all the
understand.
money with the name and
I
the backs
have
of the activists.
I am not denying that nor minimizing it. We have raised money with the help of activists. But
Yes.
but when did activists come together as a group to raise
Comrade
money
Chris,
for the
Then
fighters?
the full?
we just came together two weeks ago. We have plans and we
How
have
many
things to do.
times have you done
Wait
so?
and see.
How many
Wait
times
and see
have
where
we are here? Our duty seated here is constantly thinking how money can come in and go to Ground Zero. That's why we are
we are
here.
also
That's
doing
why
that.
other
We are
leaders are
also
there.
doing
I,
that.
But
I
We are
whatever
want
the
doing
to
that
case,
know,
we
also
cannot
daily.
conclude
are
this
we
today. Let me
ending the
get to
show?
Comrade Sama, please, your word.
Okay, thank you. I want to say thank you to my come to join us today to brainstorm on what we have to do and what we have not to do. But my advice to all Southern Cameroonians is uh, when we are like condemning something, we shouldn't practice it. Had it been the leaders didn't elect some two persons in Brussels that these are leaders, Mark Barretta and whosoever, then I could have given them a pass mark that they were serious in a non-leadership movement or organization or country in the world. But unfortunately, they made that fatal mistake of electing some people to be their leaders. With that said of done, what activity done when we put out the information that we are calling for a 3 days lockdown? Had it been I was in their position, I could have rallied all the leaders together. This thing has gone out in a single room. I'm not calling people on individual basis that we've agreed that we will call everyone together. Let us sit together. We brainstorm. If that was the case, a resolution will come out. Because I will not trust you guys. If you come to me, we've gone there, and I'll come out with a decision that we should make the lockdown of 20th May to be 1 or 2 days. I will not accept it. That's just a child's play. But had we were together in a single room, talking there, out with the resolution, that is a perfect way of doing things and not this haphazard manner of going about things. Please, next time we should be serious, other than causing mistrust amongst ourselves. Thank you.
All right, all right. I really want to thank all of you, the activists, for being part of this show today, agreeing to come and discuss this subject today. I'd like to thank all of you out there on Ground Zero. Eugene, thank you for coming on. Don Pacho, Joshua Carr, I think he left when there was a disconnection. And Comrade Sama, thank you also for being part of the broadcast. I'd like to thank all of you tuning in from Ground Zero and on the social media. Unfortunately, on the social media, I don't know what Facebook did. We were disconnected and so many people were turned off. But the good thing is that we can replay this and replay this and replay this, especially on Ground Zero. And Facebook and YouTube will make sure that you have the full broadcast uploaded so that you can go over it. Once more, I'd like to thank all of you for joining me. I'd like to remind every one of you out there that Manual County Drive was moved from yesterday because of Mother's Day event to May the 26th, May the 28th, Sunday, May the 28th. That is when that draft is coming on. We just hope that every one of you will show up and participate in support Manual, including the activists. You come up with your money too to support Manual. This is not about the interim government. It's about the fighters on Ground Zero. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being part of the show today. God bless you and good night.